Welcome to the Nintendo Dads episode 472, recorded on April 4th, 2024. On this week's episode, I can't talk. I'm so excited. On this week's episode, Barry from Premium Edition Games is back, and we talk about their Spring Direct with excitement, of course, and Hollow Knight, Silksong on the horizon, maybe, and a moment of silence for Wii U and the 3DS online services.
Hey, listen!
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Nintendo Dads, episode 472. It is April the 4th, 2024, and we are 4 days away from the eclipse that's going to end the world.
Again.
That's what I've heard online from all my conspiracy theory friends who told me so.
Wait, which day is that?
It's Monday.
The same day the Wii U and 3DS are going offline?
And the day that they start the Large Hadron Collider again.
It is truly the end of the world, my friends.
Yeah, so that's my time out this week is Eclipse conspiracy theories, so we can laugh at them here in just a little bit. But hey, before we get to that, joining us on the show this week is our usual cast of characters minus Justin and our good friend Barry Carenza from Premium Edition Games. Barry, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me back. It's nice. I was just with you a couple weeks ago, and it's great to see you all again. And sad that Justin's missing again. I was excited. I'm like, ooh, maybe Justin will be there tonight. But,
he may pop in. It just depends on Dad Uber.
Sometimes he listens and watches the show, and I'm convinced it's kind of like a hate watch. Like it's like like when you're finishing a show and you've already kind of checked out of it, but it's like I gotta finish it, like I did with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, some people will post another actually, but no, he'll just hop in and say this piece.
Yeah, I'll be like, so every time he does that, like, that the show is not going to his standards because he's like, guys, what are we talking about here? What's going on?
I guess last time he didn't pop up, so that's a good thing, right?
It was a good thing. That means that we were doing well, and he didn't have to fire anybody and rehire us behind.
We weren't tired or anything like that, and he didn't have to feel like he had to come in and liven things up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Speaking of livening things up, Tim Alth, all the way up from the great white north of wherever you live. Detroit, Michigan,
yes.
Minnesota.
Detroit, Minnesota. Yes.
Detroit, Minnesota. How you doing, buddy?
I am fantastic. Feeling great that I can finally be on the show after last week. So
we missed you. In fact, can I just say I missed everybody last week. I sent out a memo. I told you when to be here. Nobody showed up.
Marty, you did great on that solo episode. I thought it was fun. You actually did so good that I was able to fall asleep and not have to jump in the show. No, your voice was so nice and calm and reassuring,
ASMR Dads is beginning next week. It's just going to be me reading. It's going to be Tim reading his backlog, set over some rain and thunder, and I'm going to, I don't know what, I'll just talk.
How are you doing, Marty?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy week. School is wrapping up for this semester here soon. I've got about 3 weeks left after this week. So big projects coming due. Like the biggest project that I had this semester was due tomorrow, but I turned it in on Wednesday. So I'm ahead of the game. And right now all A's for this semester. So
nice,
doing pretty good.
We should celebrate.
Yeah, with a round of, I don't know, a round of Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bugles.
Yes, there you go, right there.
And more Crazy Puffs from Little Caesars. Which, if you're
those Crazy Puffs,
had a Crazy Puff yet, what are you doing with your life? Because they're the best thing that Little Caesars has ever done. I even sent a message to Little Caesar himself tonight on X and told him how good he did with those in his little Greek pizza ovens that he's making.
Yes.
The Crazy Puffs in.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
So yeah, if you guys try the Little Caesars Crazy Puffs, we want to see pictures. You know, tag us wherever you are in the socials and share it with us and let us know how you like them.
And speaking of Crazy Puffs, Jesse Waldack, how you doing, buddy?
Hell of a lot better than last week.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, Nintendo says 4 times the dads versus last week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
like 2 hours before we were ready to normally start, I have a really bad case of the chills. So I'm like, okay, I think I might have a fever. We take my temperature, and I'm like, okay, no, this isn't a fever, but this is the opposite of that, but it's still equally bad. It measured like 91.1. I'm like, that's not good. So
Yeah, that's too cold, Jesse.
Yeah.
It's
it is too cold. So I took like a 4-hour nap, woke up about 20 minutes after you were done recording, and I'm like, well, I'm awake now. Let's edit this thing.
Yeah, if you've ever wanted to know, can Nintendo Dads do a podcast in under an hour? We can, but it has to be a solo episode.
Right.
So if you want to check that out, you can go back and listen to last week's episode if you like just to hear my voice, but why would you want to do that? We've got a ton of stuff to talk about this week, including premium edition games direct as Barry circles back around to talk about that and some other stuff too. So let's dive straight into the news, shall we? And of course, our news is brought to us each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where you can go join up with the greatest community on the internet for just $1 a month. In fact, if you'll do it for a year, if you'll do that, you can dive in at any tier for a year or monthly. But if you do it at the year level, we give you a bonus. You actually get a year for free. So
Month free.
for less than a month for free. That's right, not a year for free. For less than the price of a Five Guys burger and fries combo, you can be a part of the greatest Nintendo podcast community on the face of the planet. I saw other Nintendo podcasts this week claiming that they're the best, and I say, nay, sir, no, it is us. And you're here, and that's all that matters. And so head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. You can join in at the $1, $5, $10, or $30 channel and or tier to get access to all the channels, pre and post show audio, community Patreon producer at $30, get to be on the show. And we want to say a huge thanks to our brand newest, shiniest new patron, Mike Fodrell. We appreciate you for joining up this week over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Go now. Why are you delaying? And look, here's the best part. If you go join up, Tim, in his benevolence, has decided to give you a gift. Ad-free episodes on patreon.com. You get your own feed that is prepared. It is prepared, hand prepared for you by Tim Off. That's why we didn't have an ad-free episode last week.
No, we did.
It was late.
Yes.
Because Tim was off in the mines. He was mining your ad-free episode for you with his bare hands, his fists of steel.
That's correct.
All right. Let's jump into the news. Barry, you're back. How's it going, man?
Great.
You had a big week?
Yes, last week was a big week. This week's been a big week too. But
yeah,
I wanted to talk so much last time I was on, and
I know
I was zipped.
Zipped, especially when I probably mentioned the one game that I was excited about, and you just kind of played along.
Yep.
Which was like, oh yeah, it's a pretty good game, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like, what was I trying to say about that game? The Guardian Quest.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, something came up when we were talking about it, and I was like, oh, I love that game and stuff like that. And you're just sitting there probably like, oh, I can't wait till he watches next week.
That's awesome. So if you are wondering what we're talking about, maybe you're a new listener of the show. A couple of weeks ago, we had Barry on. Barry is the founder, one of the founding members of Premium Edition Games. And basically what they do is they take indie titles that do not get physical releases, and they make sure that they get those physical releases that everybody wants. And they don't just do hey, let's throw it in a box and send it to your door. Oh, no. They give you a premium edition You see what I did there? They give you a premium edition, even sometimes for some games, multiple editions. And there's tons of stuff: art books, stickers, patches, pins. It's really amazing, guys. And y'all, you're
The
now
challenge card.
yeah, the challenge card. That
Yes.
I was about to
Manuals.
say that. Manuals,
Actual manuals.
yeah, actual instruction books. And correct me if I'm wrong here, because there's a lot of numbers and words in our doc,
Yes.
and I just want to be sure. What you announced on March 25th
Mhm.
was Spring Series 8. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, the Switch Series 8.
Yes, Switch Series 8. Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to run down some things that are still available, and then I want you to talk to us about about Series 8, about what makes it so cool. And man, listen, I'm telling you, just sell the heck out of it because these things are so awesome. I love that we get to partner with you to talk about some of this stuff. So, all the latest physical editions, they're coming soon. Series 6 and 7 updates. That's Wife Quest, Super Dungeon Maker, the Sunshine Anthology. Series 5 is also in stock and probably draining as we speak. This is Eagle Island Twist, Love 3, They Bleed Pixels, and Raji, an Ancient Epic Enhanced Edition, which, Tim, you actually have a copy of this. That's right? You've showed
Yeah,
that
I have that.
on the show.
That collector's edition. Yeah,
Yeah,
with
only
the puppets.
yeah, only 1,500 copies are available at the time of us.
Oh, that the
making
1,500
That's the
copies is the Shopville
the
version.
Shotville version. That's right. That's right. Also, right now they're doing pre-orders for NES titles Jim and Dill: The Legend of Weed and Stiff, which is a Zelda-like game, and Jim and Dill 2: Bobson's Revenge, which is a beat 'em up. Now, Barry, what I want you to do is I want you to run down this Series 8 for us. Talk about just, I mean, whatever details you want to give us. We want people. Obviously, what we want is we want people to go over and buy a copy. You want people to go over and buy a copy. So, man, just hit us. Tim's already kind of let Gordy and Quest slip, but go ahead and talk about all these games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well-
before we do,
well-
Nintendo says series number 8 is greater than Mighty number 9.
That is correct.
Yes, I agree there. No, so what you just run down was some of our updates. Just to briefly say, Wife Quest was part of our Series 6, which the carts are in stock. We're just waiting for the last few items, the physical items, to put together. Super Dungeon Maker, also part of Series 6. Super excited for that one. We're just waiting for the last bug fixes. There was a huge update in that, and we wanted to wait to make sure that update and everything is on the cart and you don't have any downloads and it's complete. So we had a delay. Series 7, Anuchard, Lonesome Village, and Sunshine Anthology will be entering production shortly. In fact, at the time of the recording, we talked about how Camp Sunshine still wasn't ported. Since that has happened, Fossil Games has sent over a screenshot of Camp Sunshine running on the Switch, and it is now in digital lot check. So we were that much closer. So we're very, very pleased that Fossil Games is doing that. They had to rebuild almost that entire game. It was an older game, but we want that on the physical, and that's the way it's going to be. And then Jim and Dill 1 and 2 are available right now for pre-order. Those are NES titles. NES titles also come with challenge cards and manuals, so you can still get patches on our NES games as well. They do not get a lesser treatment. So if you have an NES, you love NES Aftermarket. These are 2 games from Cal Games, phenomenal games, and definitely worthy of the love. So do not miss out. We have very limited of the silver editions left, so we definitely want people who are interested to go with that. But those are updates. For Series 8, Series 8 just so I can't believe that I'm able to even talk about Series 8 in the sense of the quality of these games. Like I feel like we just get luckier and luckier with some of these. And of course, Gordian Quest, which we talked about last time, was a tease that we talked about last time that did not get a lot of attention because we were unfortunately unable to put it in our direct due to the publishers. They wanted to do the announcement themselves 3 days later, and we had to wait and do our announcement 3 days later too. But this is a full-on Dungeons and Dragons style deck building role playing game. It has over 700 cards, but you don't have them all at the same time. It's almost like deck building light, where you get to pick which of the 10 heroes you want in your party. Each of these 10 heroes has their own deck that plays completely different. You get to pick which one they start with. And then as you level up, you have skill trees that you can start getting cards from the other decks. So you can kind of make your own hybrid. This game still has full equipment. It's got, Dungeons and Dragon type scenarios where you like roll where it's like, oh, you hear a noise in the forest, and do you go follow it or do you not? And if you follow it, oh, there's a trap, which each of your character do you want to try to spring the trap, and you have to roll and stuff. And it's really, really cool how they did it. And there's an overarching story. There's like 20 to 30 hour storyline. Just an epic experience from Mixed Realms. And it's one that we've been sitting on for a while, and we're finally able to reveal it. Oh, look, there's a Gordian quest. Look at that. What is that? Is it?
It's a big
They
box.
sent us a review copy, a copy to be able to review. I did a review on the game, and they sent us this big box with all kinds of cool stuff in it for Gordian Quest.
Well, see, I didn't even get that.
So that's why I'm excited for the physical version.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered that sucker right away when you guys announced that.
So now I have to ask, since you reviewed it, what did you think?
I thought it was great, especially with at the time when I was reviewing the game, I was playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, this has got those D&D feels for sure. So and I love a deck builder game too. So but I enjoyed that roguelite aspect of it too, and building the deck, getting cards. There's definitely some strategy to it, and picking your characters and things like that. So I'm excited to jump back into it. Actually, I went away from it for a while, but it is one that's still on my Switch that I'm hoping to jump back into. So
nice. So now you'll get the physical to go with that.
Yes, to go with that.
This was a game that was always been on my maybe list, but I never pulled the trigger. But now I'm thinking about doing that again.
Well, hopefully you pick up the physical, because it is honestly such a great game. And we're really happy to be working with Mixed Realms to bring this out, because I feel like it's a game that would just get overlooked because there's so many games out there, and it's a really
it was shame. Yeah, I think it still was at the time. So I'm glad it's getting that second life with you guys to get that physical edition.
Exactly. So. A lot of that's there's so many games on the eShop. We hear this story from so many developers. Oh, by the way, the digital sales aren't that good because there's just too many games, and we don't care about digital sales. We care about the quality of the game. The game could sell 3 copies, and if we love the game, we're going to give it the attention it deserves. Speaking of, the next game is actually a critically acclaimed game that was a Kickstarter success, and it was on the Wii U, and then they brought it from the Wii U, talking about the death of the Wii U at the top of the show. It's brought from the Wii U to the Switch, and that's Tadpole Treble Encore. The Switch version has extra level, extra modes, extra features, and this is a hilarious rhythm platformer. Just incredible. The songs are funny. It throws that curveball where in a rhythm game you usually have to hit the notes. In this one, you have to avoid the notes. You can make your own songs like Mario Paint and then play the levels of the songs. It's just an incredible game that I feel a lot of people missed out on. On the Wii U, I think they played it, but all 10 people on the Wii U, that played it and enjoyed it. But on the Switch, again, it's just such a dense market that we're glad we could bring this to new life, because it's really unique. It's just a rhythm platformer that with so much charm. And if you watch the developer video after, the Toronto brothers have such a good sense of humor, and they bring that into the game. It's just an honor to bring this out.
Just that humor alone was making me think of pressing that or pre-order button.
Yeah, no, that's them. I mean, they were not. I didn't instruct them. I said, look, could you just do a little video? You sell the game, talk about the game, whatever you want. It's your audience. And they're like, okay, and they went hard, and they went harder than they had to, and I appreciate it. Sure. And I love it. I think that added great humor. And we never know. We never know what we're going to get from the developers. Everyone does something different. And it's always a fun surprise, and they really hit it out of the park. I
forget the other game. Maybe it's the next one. Sorry to interrupt, Barry, but the other one where they did the developer did a hand drawn thing.
Oh, that was our tease game, but again, they also went hard.
Yes. Yeah,
they went way harder than they needed to, and we really appreciate that. We love it, because it shows their passion, and that allows us to convey that passion, because the directs there are showcases, but they're not really our showcases. They're the developer showcases. It's us there for all the developers, because it's their babies, and we want to give them the attention they deserve and the spotlight they deserve. So we're happy whenever they want to participate. But the last game for Series 8 is a game called Scarlet Tower. This game is not actually out in the Switch yet. It's in lot check right now. So I can't wait to play the Switch version. And this is a game very similar to Vampire Survivors, but on a whole new level. It adds so many more features, so many more modes, so many more actions and traits, and like they went hard on developing this game. And in fact, this is one of those that we had looked at a while back, and we were like, oh, this looks really good, we'll have to circle back around. And by the time we circled back around, they're like, oh yeah, the game's done now, and we added like hundreds of new things, and we're like, oh my god, we were talking about doing it before, and now it's like, yeah, absolutely, let's get this game out there. So we're happy to be bringing it out. This game has a Castlevania-esque art style and just wonderful music, and if you've never played these type of games, they are addicting. These are the one more run type of games, and we're really happy to be able to bring one of these physically, because there is none of these physically.
Right.
So it's like, oh, this is a perfect
Scarlet Tower, Marty, is one I thought of you when I saw that one.
Yeah, I definitely am very interested in this game.
It's got some bullet hell stuff too going on. Like,
Yeah.
it is crazy.
Yeah, this one looks really good.
Yeah, this is an awesome title, and this actually was not supposed to be part of Series 8. This was a late edition. One of the things we do at Premium is we don't like crunch. We've seen so many games be destroyed by crunch. So we don't tell any of our developers, you need to have this game by this time. We say when we would like to release it, but we don't put it as hard. So we talked about one game that had to be delayed. And I talked with Douglas, who made Scarlet Tower. And I said, hey, we have an opening. Are you interested? And he was like, yes. So we were able to bump it up. And of course, the game that was delayed was Carl from Morningstar Studios and Nintendo. They needed more time for the added content, and we want to make sure it's complete on cart, and we make sure it's done properly and not rushed. And we gave them more time. It wasn't even a discussion. It was like, you got it. And Drew was kind enough to not only do a video to explain that, but show off some of the new stuff. So we're really happy that he provided that for everybody, and I'm very excited for Carl, and that is definitely going to be something that will hopefully be Series 9, unless there's another delay. But you have to look forward to that.
Is that Nintendo's first game?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's an honor to work with him. He's a wonderful guy, and that's an example. Matt Bittner of Morningstar Studios worked with him on that, and we did Robot Named Fight. So that was literally Matt called Drew over and said, hey, could you come over here and look at what they did for Robot Named Fight? And Drew was like, this is amazing. So they called us up and like, do you want to do Carl? And we're like, we would love to do Carl. And like, that was it. That was how simple it was.
Nice.
We love that with our developing partners. We want them to always just come back to us like that. We want them to have a good enough experience. And to us, that's like a badge of honor. It's like, we did our job well enough that you want to work with us again.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Always word of mouth. It's already spreading. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then you alluded to the tease game, which I so hard to keep quiet on, and so happy, which is Curse Crackers, for whom the bell toils. Which
this is such a good game. Like, I feel like it's so slept on.
So slept on. This game just it went under the radar. No one talked about it. I missed it myself, and truth be told, I wound up finding it at on a YouTube ad, and I was just like, this game looks incredible. How did I miss this? And I it took a while to get in touch with the developers, and I sat down and we had a wonderful talk, and we talked for a long time and worked with them, and said, hey, we really want to work with you, and they're giving us the opportunity, and we're very, very grateful for that. And I told them, I said, look, Series 8 is full. I said, but we'll give you the one more thing slot. So you get into the next series, and we'll give you the one more thing slot. So you'll get the extra hype. You'll be in too. And they were overjoyed about doing it. And obviously they went to town with that developer video, which again, that we didn't ask them to go that hard. They chose to. They're very passionate. They love their baby, and I hope that this brings more attention to this game, because this game is so good. It is so unique. It's a platformer in the Game Boy Color style, or at least the Game Boy on the Super Game Boy style, and it's so good.
And can I just want to say for our listeners that if you're a fan of any type of speed running game, this game is for you because it is so fast and fluid, but the controls are on point. Like it's, I don't know, it just feels so good to play.
Absolutely.
When I watched the video, I got Celeste vibes. Is that wrong?
No, there's a little
Okay.
bit of Celeste, there's a little bit of Shantae,
Okay.
there's a lot of that in there, and it's done like meticulously, like
Yeah.
perfect.
Nice.
And it's really cool because it even rewards you. Like one of the things you could do is at the end of the level, you've got to throw Belle, your companion, onto like a chime to end the level, and you get rewarded based on the distance you throw Belle at. So you could get 1 star by just hitting it. But like there's an example in the trailer where you could throw it and do a bunch of acrobatics from a far distance because Belle will just shoot across. Like she'll just keep going. So you can shoot her from far enough away and just manually get over to it. You get like bonus points. It's a lot of fun, and of course that takes practice learning the level, and there's a lot of replay.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's Series 8. Series, like I said, Gordian Quest is available right now to pre-order. Tadpole Treble goes up the following Monday, coming up, and then Scarlet Towers in another 2 weeks. But you can get all 3 games on our website right now via the Mega Packs. So we've got the standard Mega Packs if you want all standards. We've got the retro edition versions, all retro, and then we've got the all-in-one, which gets you all standards and all retros. If you're the ultimate collector and you want to get them, absolutely. This way you don't have to wait or remember to come back, or you can just do it in one click, easy peasy. But just we want to give every game several weeks to shine on its own and not have them step on each other's toes, and really, because we love all these games. We think you all love all these games. They all have their real pros, and they're very different from each other.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah. Then what'd you think of the Kickstarter section?
I
Well,
thought
I just wanted to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna say that was I missed the last direct you guys did, so I don't know if you did it in that one or not, but that was a nice surprise to see in this one that you guys also are supporting. As you guys said, it's like being able to give those people who are doing Kickstarters the opportunity to also have a physical reward to offer to people, which is great. And I'm glad you guys are doing that because it's another avenue that the Kickstarters can take. It sounds like, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we did it last time. We showed off an update. In fact, last time we did an update on Poglings and an update on Crystalla, and then we did an update on Sunshine. And that was the whole deal because Sunshine was our Kickstarter. It was our very first Kickstarter. And Paul from Fossil Games did a wonderful video where it's like, oh, it's coming along, psych. It's really part of Series 7. So we kind of threw, we screwed with people. We wanted to have fun with it. But yeah, we always, ever since our second direct, we've always had a Kickstarter update section.
Oh, really?
Which was Sunshine for the longest time because that was our only Kickstarter. But we always wanted to give an update, and that's what we do with every one of our Kickstarters. We tell them you get an update in every single direct until your game becomes a series. This way it's another avenue for you to tell your fans and to tell our fans and show off anything you want. And you don't have to do it, but we want to give you just an extra outlet to update. And especially with a lot of them running backer kits, it's another chance for them to get more support, and we want to give them that opportunity.
Giving updates on games that you're actually developing on Kickstarter is such a novel idea. Other places should try that. Yeah, really, but so Poglings, help me out here if I want to be sure. Poglings is it's still in development.
Yeah, so Poglings went up for Kickstarter last year. It was part of our spring direct last year. Did exceptionally well, did almost 11 times its goal, and it's in the process still being developed. So Chad, that's with the Yojoiko and Chad Tronic, and he provided us an update video to show more updated feature of the game that we could show off. And the game's coming along. This is like if Sega never abandoned the Chow Gardens. So originally when it was even pitched to us, it was mainly raising and racing. And now he's added the sumo, which was at the end of the trailer. So who knows what else he's going to be adding. We don't know. We're just excited for the game.
Looked like there was a few events there. Yeah. That's just pretty cool.
So
go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Poglings, Crystalla, you already mentioned, but I'm seeing two here on our list
Yeah,
that you
well,
haven't talked about yet. God
yeah,
Shard Chronicles and Atomic Owl. Can you tell
correct.
us some more about those?
Sure. So first, I don't want to gloss over Crystalla because there is some updates with Crystalla.
Okay.
They were just at PAX East. Great feedback on the game. They have a special demo for backers going up. Their early access is coming May for Steam. It will come to consoles later. We're doing the PlayStation 5 version right now. It is coming to Switch. We're not sure how it's going to run on Switch, which is why we haven't announced any physical. But if it does Switch 2 or something like that, we're absolutely on point to release it there as well. But right now we're just doing the PlayStation 5 version. This is like a Souls-like kind of action RPG where you play as an anthropomorphic cat. The footage that you saw was all brand new footage. It looks fantastic. The game just looks better and better every time I see it. So it's one of those where if it interests you, you can get in on the early access, and you can still support them via backer kit, including the PS5 physical, the exclusive version. You can still get via their backer kit. Godchard Chronicles was one that was live at the time of the recording. It just ended 2 days ago. Or 3 days ago. No, it was 2 days. It just came shy of 6 times its goal. It hit every single
Nice.
stretch
Wow.
goal, but the very last one, which he put up with like 35 minutes left, and we got like $10,000 in that 35 minutes. Almost, we were needed
Whoa.
20,000, and he wasn't sure if he's like, should I do it? I'm like, go for it. Let's go for it. And now everyone wants it, so he's going to be doing a backer kit. And we're going to get that goal through there. But every goal, like I was saying to him, I was like, we hit another goal. We need something else. He was like, hold on, I'm literally sending a message to like one of the composers if they'll do a bonus song for us. And like, oh, they said yes. They said yes. Quickly throw it up there. Like it's so exhilarating and so great. And this is a love letter to 16-bit style action RPGs. It inspired by Mana and Zelda. It's 2-player co-op, so it's single player or 2-player. You don't have to play 2. It's got the composer from Lunar and Grandia and Ace Attorney doing the music. It's got John Truitt, who did the voice for Galleon from Lunar, is voicing a major character in this. One of the stretch goals, which I didn't expect. We didn't know this when signing the game, but it was a stretch goal for 250,000. I'm so glad we hit it. It's a prequel game. It's a 5-hour long prequel game that is going to be a complete bonus, and we're going to get that on the physical too.
Oh, nice.
So just buying, it's a whole extra game that's now gotten to everybody. Speaking of extra, I see we have an extra guest. So I guess it must be
joining us
boring.
on the show, ladies and gentlemen, the mythical, legendary Justin Masson. How are you, sir?
What's going on, folks? I apologize for my lateness. I literally just drove in and have thrown bags down and ran down to my laptop. So, hey, hi guys, what's going on?
I gotta have that hat, sir.
Right? It's this is straight
I gotta
from
have that
Seattle. Thank you. I thought you'd like this one.
I'm the hat guy here. What the heck?
We will see. We will fight to the death for the hat space.
Well,
I too have a head that needs to be covered.
The three of us have facial hair. He had to have something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotta give me something. Gotta give me something.
All right. All right. Well, Barry, go ahead. Continue. You were talking about Godshard Chronicles.
But Godshard Chronicles will have a backer kit. So if you missed backing this game, there will be a way for you to get the Kickstarter exclusive versions. We have the Switch and PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 versions. Do not sleep on this game. This game is going to be incredible. I'm so excited for this as an action RPG lover. And if you have nostalgia for the SNES days and Secret of Mana and stuff, like this is definitely something, your support helps make the game better, which is the best part about Kickstarters. Like I love stretch goals because you can actively make a game better. They also did community goals, and they hit all the community goals, which was cool. So, like one of the things is the Sword of the Necromancer from the Sword of the Necromancer game is over, being in there and stuff. But then the last one was a Kickstarter that is active right now and is funded. It went live the day after the direct, and it is funded fully right now. So we're working on stretch goals, and that's Atomic Owl. It's described kind of like a roguelike Sonic the Hedgehog. This is an action neo-roguelike game where you play as a ninja owl with a talking blade that will turn into different weapons like a whip and a hammer. It's got a cyberpunk aesthetic and a cyberpunk soundtrack, and it's just high octane. It's a lot of fun. From it just oozes style. And the developer Eldar is such a wonderful guy. He worked on Borderlands, I believe, and very talented. And he's super excited, and the energy behind this game is just off the charts. And the community that's already grouped up behind it's great. And we're just out there like, hey, you know what? You're funded. We have 3 weeks left. Let's see how far it can go. So we do have a Kickstarter exclusive Switch and PlayStation 5 version. So not only can you grab those, but you're also supporting the game, and you're going to hit new goals, and you're going to make the game itself better, which is great because then everybody wins. So like I said, it's funded already. You don't have to worry about will it hit it. So please go and support this developer and this game. This is great. This is a great game.
This one had me at synthwave pixel art description. I was like, oh yeah, that's if a game ever had my name written on it, and it looks really good.
Yeah.
Why, just like, I'm super excited about Atomic Owl. That's definitely going to be back in that one.
Oh, I appreciate
Marty,
that.
what you said reminded me of what my kid said earlier. He was talking to a friend about it's like music played in an older style. He referred to it as pixely. I'm like, I don't think sound can be pixely.
No, it can be crunchy.
I knew what he meant, but
grainy.
He didn't know the right words to use.
Right, yeah.
But I just thought that was funny.
Get some vocabulary, kid.
Exactly.
So, Barry, I want to talk as we round this out this just a little bit. You guys are going to be pretty active in conventions leading up through the end of May. I did not know that you guys were just in Nashville, Tennessee, which is literally an hour and a half down the road from me. I hate that I missed this opportunity, but last weekend was nuts anyway. Did you get to go to Nashville?
No, I usually do conventions in the Northeast, which is where I'm located. But since I've had my son, I haven't done really any conventions right now because he's young, and I want to be there for him. And also, I don't want to go like Eldar, for example, who did Atomic Owl. I feel bad. He was just at GDC, promoting it, and he came back, and he disappeared for a couple days. And I was like, "Hey, you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, sorry, I got COVID at GDC, so I'm fighting it." And I'm like, "Oh man!" So like, I don't want to go to a convention and bring that home to my 9-month-old.
Sure, I got you.
It's like no, So I usually do, stuff like Too Many Games, Retro World, stuff like that, like in the Northeast. But we do have teams all over. In fact, our CEO, Josh, I was just on the phone with him literally 10 minutes before we got on this call. And he's en route to Midwest Gaming Classic, where we have many of our team members are going to be over there. And we do have convention exclusives. So we've got Midwest, we've got a Wonderling DX exclusive. Which it's that particular slipcover is limited, and that dog tag is limited to the show. With Game On, we just did Rain on Your Parade. I believe Game On next year has already ordered, and this hasn't been even announced, but I believe they ordered Super Dungeon Maker, so there'll be a variant there.
Cool.
So we love working with conventions to do these kind of things. It's just a fun thing. And the Wonderling one also comes with a plush. A special plush that is going to be sold with the game, that version. We just like to do fun things, It's just about getting the games out there as well, It's like if there are collectors that like that kind of stuff, and hopefully they do, and they say, "Oh, I've never played this game. What's this game? I bought it because it's convention exclusive," and they open it up and they play it, and hopefully they really enjoy it.
I'll run down your convention schedule here, and hopefully, we've got listeners everywhere, scattered across the world, really. And so if you hear of a convention that's near you, go out, meet the premium edition team, get yourself some con exclusive editions of these games. As Barry's already mentioned, Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee, Wisconsin is this weekend.
Yep.
South Carolina Comic Con is also this weekend. They'll be there as well. Grand Rapids Comic Con, April 12th through the 14th. Game Jam South, May 4th through the 5th. Anime Central, May 17th through the 19th, Combo Breaker, May 24th through 26th, and MomoCon, also May 24th through 27th. So go to these conventions, go get yourself some cool merch, meet the team. Do you have time for some questions?
Yes, of course. I'm here for
Awesome.
the whole episode.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So Ninfriendo in our chat, as we're talking here, wants to know, do you have any kaiju games on the horizon? And he says, like King of Monsters or Rampage.
Well, I can say that there is a chance, a good chance, that we do have a kaiju game coming up. And I could also say we had a kaiju game that we did test, but we did not go with it, but we did test
Okay.
it on. But there is a good chance. We're ironing out the details, but there is a good chance we will have a kaiju game.
Okay. All right. So kaiju
That
fans.
was pretty damn specific. I mean,
Look for there. I mean, the man knows what he likes. All right. So there we go.
Call that out.
Lunchbox, also known as the Disgruntled Gamer, asks this. I'm a huge fan of Premium Edition and the quality products they produce. I'm a huge Smash TV fan, so I'm intrigued by that one game. Now we just need a shmup or a Rampage-like game. Is one coming? Wink, wink.
Well,
I see a pattern here.
I'm seeing a pattern here. Well, obviously the Rampage-like game, I've already answered. As for shmup, all I can say is that we have many games signed. Many of these games are still in development, and we do not release a billion games a year. We do anywhere between 2 to 4 games in a series. We've only done 2 series a year. We are doing a summer series this time, so we've actually upped it to 3 series a year because we do have a lot of games, and we do want to get them out, but we also do not want to overwhelm everybody because there's so many things. So all I could say is stay tuned, and you might see a shooter or two pop up. It's always possible.
I like the cut of your jib there answering that question. He also asked this, what's the one dream game that you want as physical at this very moment?
Nintendo, Square, I'm looking right at you. That you've got my games. Like, I would love to do Star Ocean First Departure, the Voice of Cards games, Fire Emblem that Nintendo took off the shelf, the Famicom Detective Club, the 2 games. I'd love to do those.
The Voice of Cards games, I think, would be a good one.
I would love to. I love all three of them.
One cart with all 3 games on it.
With a trilogy. I would love it. And it's a matter, what the problem is when you have the Japanese studios, they only want to speak Japanese and they only want to speak to another Japanese person. And unfortunately, I don't speak Japanese and I'm English. So I can talk with the community managers and I can talk to the English side, and they're like, yeah, like, unfortunately, we can't get you in contact with anybody. So these are dream games. If you're out there listening and you know contacts at these companies, Nintendo, Capcom, doesn't matter. We'd love to work with them, but they would look at us like, who are you? Like, but absolutely.
I'm just trying to imagine this one, like having a set of almost like a deck of cards with all the different people and characters that you come across.
I would love to do something like that. Like, there's so many games. A Paranormal Site from Square. Square has a lot of digital only titles, which is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered didn't get an English release. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition HD is digital only. There's just so many just from Square alone, and Capcom has like the Capcom Arcade collections 1 and 2. They're digital only. Get those out. Like, I would love to do a lot of these games. It's just, getting to talk to the right people at these Japanese companies is the hardest part.
So you need a Japanese speaking person on your team to help
absolutely. If someone's out there, we don't shy away from that. We absolutely. We're a team built out of the community. We just had our newest team member that joined us was Jordan from Switch Watch, who was a part of the direct. Really happy to have him there. And that's just it. We're always looking for people who like-minded, that want to do cool stuff, that want to work with cool games and want to help preserve games, and just be a part of this industry, because that's it. We're not some big huge conglomerate or anything like that. We're 9 guys that just like to have fun and work for these developers and help these developers get their games out physically and make versions that we want on our shelves, as it is.
Good deal. Some guy named Tim has this question. Have you ever thought about including a digital copy of the game with pre-orders of the game so collectors can play the game while they wait for their physical copy?
That's a good question. We did at one point have a bit of a discussion. The problem with that is we would have to raise the price. We getting the digital copies. Like if we were to say we need 5,000 digital codes, we would still have to buy them. So if a game is $10, we would have to probably pay $4 or $5 for them. Like there's a discount, but we still would have to pay. So because of that, we would have to include it, we would have to raise the price. And we know people would balk at it. Well, I don't need a digital copy. Why do I have to? But we've already bought the digital, it just becomes messy. So that's the only negative I can say. If we would be able to get them for free, absolutely. But when we work with these developers, we do get a few codes, because the team needs the codes, because our manual writer needs a code to play and and to write it, and our streamer, and we need codes for the team to be able to talk about it, because we do play all the games we put out. But that we're talking 5 codes, 6 codes versus thousands of codes. And that's just it. So if a developer is interested and says, yeah, we'll foot the bill, of course, but we don't want to raise the price any more than we have to. And unfortunately with Switch, some games are a little bit more expensive, and that's because Switch uses those cards, and the smallest card is 2 gig. And if a game is more than 2 gig, we don't cheap out and say, well, we're going to give you the 2 gig and you have a download. We're going to go to the 4 gig, but that costs more money, unfortunately. Right. And if it needs to go to the 8 gig, it costs more money again. So we do have to raise the price only because of that. But that's because we were trying to get the full game preserved. And it's out of our hands until Nintendo makes those carts cheaper. But who knows if they ever will.
Right.
Good question from Tim. I don't know who that guy is, but
just some guy.
Just some guy. Just some guy.
Just some guy named Tim.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, those are all our questions. Let's move on. Let's talk some other news. Barry, thanks so much for running down everything going on with Premium Edition. You guys can head over to premiumeditiongames.com and you can pre-order the new Series 8, as well as pick up some older releases as well that are now in stock. And there's tons of really cool packages over there. So just be sure to go check them out, give them some love, and tell them Nintendo Dad sent you. Hey, Justin, since you've, just popped into the show now, and we haven't heard a lot from you, did you know that there was this game that got announced about 5 years ago called Hollow Knight Silksong?
Nope, wrong. Sorry. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, well, that one too. But both of them are in similar states of vaporware at this point. Sure. So, Hollow Knight Silksong has actually been rated this week, well as not just in one place, but in a couple of places, in a couple of different regions. It's also been listed online, although it does not have a release date. As our resident business guru, do you think this means the release date for Silksong is imminent? Because I know there are some people in our community who they want this game very badly.
Sure. Well, let me start by saying this. First, I have Hollow Knight. I've never played it yet. And so I feel like I need to go do that right away. So
there may be fighting words
will not be released until I play Hollow Knight. Is probably what's going to happen. So for everyone who's
what's been
waiting,
holding it back. They've been waiting for you to play it.
So sorry, right? So first I would say this because this news kind of came in a couple different ways this week. It was April 1st, actually, ironically, which is a horrible day to do it. Shows up on the Xbox page, digital page, right? Essentially. P.S. That is like, if you can actually literally go to Nintendo's eShop right now and type in Hollow Knight Silksong, and it's got its own page. It's got screenshots. It's got all of that. So putting a placeholder, if you will, in an eShop is not, I don't think, anything too crazy. And again, Nintendo already has it. PlayStation already had it. Xbox just added it. The smoke and then there's fire statement is the actual rating, right? That's a critical part of it, that we have now gotten to a point in the development cycle. And again, we're assuming that's an actual true, like it actually did happen. It's not a rumor. It's not a false site. If it's actually now being rated, that means it has gotten far enough along the development that they can feel comfortable submitting it to be rated in regards to the content that's in the game. That's a good sign, right? That's a good sign. Does it mean it's going to be shadow drop tomorrow? No, it doesn't mean that, right? But it means that progress is being moved along in the right direction, which is exactly what we want. I anticipate we will see Hollow Knight Silksong probably released in 2024. I wouldn't be shocked if we see it as a shadow drop on someone's platform. Right now, the question is whose platform? That's the $100 question. And the reason I say that is, if you recall, about 18 months ago, Phil Spencer stood up on Xbox at E3 and said, these games are coming up in the next 12 months. And one of the games that they highlighted was Silksong. So did Xbox pay some additional out-of-pocket money to Team Cherry to make sure that Hollow Knight was exclusive for their console? I don't know if we have that detail. So when the next Nintendo Direct comes, could it be a shadow drop there? Possibly. Here's the reality. Hollow Knight will come to all platforms for sure, right? Like it was such a big deal. They're going to put it on all platforms. Who is the first to get it? And the second question is there an exclusive, right? Those are the questions that we need to ask. It being rated is a good sign. I really hope we finally get there, because I would also completely love to stop seeing in YouTube chats or on Twitter, anytime there's a Nintendo Direct or any announcement, Hollow Knight Silksong, Hollow Knight Silksong. Silksong. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, those are all like, yes, we all want the game. Everyone wants to play it. And it's, from what I've heard, amazing. But I think this is a good sign, but we're not there yet.
I asked about Metroid Prime 4, but
well, that's never getting a rating, because at this point it is also similarly in a state of vaporware, just like Hatch Tales and
didn't you hear about that new Metroid Prime golf game?
Oh yeah, I totally want that.
Well done, Game Explain, on that one.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my thoughts regarding it. Inevitably it will show up. This is a good sign. This is moving the needle in the right direction.
We're inching ever closer.
Yeah, that's exactly
to the inevitable Silksong release.
Yeah.
Right. A couple other news little tidbits here. The person who shut down Nintendo Live Tokyo 2024 via threats has been arrested. Good job.
We're all here, so it was none of us, so we're good.
That is correct.
I'm really glad I showed up on time, guys.
Awkward. Yeah, you're digging a hole there. News reports say that this individual was in his 20s and is a local public servant in the Ibaraki prefecture, which is just northeast of Tokyo. I probably pronounced that wrong, but I just wanted to give the information there. He stands accused of obstructing Nintendo's business. Also coming out of this is,
that's putting it mildly.
Yeah, right. Nintendo has yet to say when the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Online Challenge final stage and the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe World Championship and Splatoon 3 World Championships will be rescheduled. Those were to occur there at Nintendo Live Tokyo 2024. I'm wondering if they might just reschedule the whole event now, because the thread has passed. They figured it out.
I know the live music contest that they were planning for it, they basically posted on YouTube. They recorded it in the venue anyway, just in an empty house, which, good music, but was still awkward not hearing applause at the end of their set.
Yeah, it's like a memory popped up today for me on Facebook and Jesse, you were part of this, that on this day 4 years ago, you and I were watching WrestleMania live with no audience.
Oh, that was awful.
The 2020 WrestleMania, which, I mean, the matches were good, but the lack of an audience, especially during the entrances, that was so
because they still spent the time to pose and do their thing, expecting the applauses or the boozes or whatever, and there was nothing. Crickets.
It's just it was so weird, so strange. Such a weird time. I hope we never have to go back to anything like that. Last couple of news bits here, guys. Monday, May 8th is a time for mourning. As you heard Tim say at the beginning of the show, a little moment of silence for the Nintendo Wii U and 3DS online services, which will be passing into the great hereafter, much like the Wii Shop channel before it. The online services for both of these systems will be shuttered on April 8th, the same day as the eclipse. Do you get it yet, sheeple?
Guys, I still haven't finished Zelda Triforce Heroes.
Well,
do I have time?
You have 3 days.
This weekend.
What about Metroid Prime Federation Force?
You have 3 days.
Those are
there
yes.
was some tough games.
You can still do local though.
If you want to,
good.
Justin,
I need
if
to
you
find more friends.
Listen, if you want to spend as much money as you can in Nintendo Badge Arcade, you have 3 days.
Sweet.
Yes.
So notable games affected by this shutdown. IGN has a full list, but we pulled a few that we thought you would want to know about. Splatoon, original Splatoon, Animal Crossing, New Leaf, Mario Kart 7 and 8, not deluxe, just regular 8, Mario Golf World Tour, Metroid Prime Federation Force, Pokemon games, though Pokemon Bank and Pokemon, what's the other service? Home will still stay up for now. Mario Maker on both the 3DS and the Wii U, Zelda Triforce Heroes, Wii Sports Club, Yokai Watch 3, and later, and Nintendo Badge Arcade, all being shuttered. And that's just first-party games, right? There's a handful of other games.
There's at least 60 games out there that are going to be no longer working for the online part of it.
So pour one out for our homies, the Wii U and 3DS online services. It's going to be a sad day, Monday, April 8th. Really, I want you guys to know the insider knowledge I have is that the eclipse is happening at the same time as these are being shuttered. The aliens are ripping open the sky to go take the online services to their rightful home. That's what's going on.
So are we doing a stream that day until until all of a sudden it just goes dark?
I just was told earlier. I saw an image was shared with me that we're not going to be in the totality of it, but we're going to be in the 99% of it at like 1:30 Central Time that afternoon, and it's going to last from like 12:40 to 3:15, the whole thing. So it's going to be dark here for a little bit. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll do a stream then.
We got the glasses and everything here, so.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I was.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't look straight at it, Marty.
Yeah, that's
just
what
keep
they
moving.
say. That's what they say, and they are wrong about lots of things.
You can't look into it because you'll see the aliens. You don't want to see the aliens.
Yeah, you'll see them ripping the sky open. Literally read somebody posting yesterday that that's why they don't want you to look at it. That you'll see what's really happening, which is our alien overlords gluing the firmament back together where it's going to be ripping apart. They're going to be putting it back together as it goes across the sky. You can't make this up.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Internet.
Oh my God.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Cracked, our good friends over at Cracked announced HellBoy-themed devices, partnering with the creators of Hellboy to bring out a Hellboy-themed Nitro deck and the brand new Neo S controller with Hellboy designs. You can pre-order these now. They should ship in time for Father's Day, which is June. But the Neo S controller is brand new in all forms, and I believe the first ones of those are shipping this month. Is that correct, Tim?
Yes, the Neo S and the Nitro Deck Plus, I think, are all coming this month.
And Tim, why should people stay aware of our channel for those reasons?
Well, because we'll have a review of some of those devices and possibly have a giveaway as well.
Possibly.
Yes. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Some upcoming releases we want to let you know about before we take a quick ad break. Freedom Planet 2, the sequel to Freedom Planet, which came out on the Wii U and eventually made its way to Switch, is out now. Freedom Planet and Freedom Planet 2 are both heavily inspired by old school Sonic the Hedgehog. So if you're looking for that kind of experience, then you want to check out Freedom Planet and Freedom Planet 2. Also, tomorrow, or by today, as you're hearing this in our audio version, the 39th Maximus Cup for Tetris 99 will be ongoing. It is themed for Princess Peach Showtime. I was wondering when they would do this. It starts April 5th at 12 a.m. Pacific and goes through 11:59 Pacific on April 8th. So you should go check that out. Don't
That
miss.
ends on April 8th too. What is going on?
Oh no.
Triggered. Speaking of triggered, it's time for an ad break from our good friends over at Manscaped.
Folks, support Nintendo Dads is brought to you by Manscaped. Ladies and gentlemen, here at Nintendo Dads HQ, we're hairy. Yeah, we sure are. And we smell funny. We sure do. But you know who helps us with that? Our good friends over at Manscaped. And you, if you're hairy or smell funny, because most men are both hairy and smell funny, listen, they've got you covered. So head over to manscaped.com, use the promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping, because they can help you stop being hairy in all those spots that you are hairy. All of those spots that you're hairy. And if you smell funny because you've got some sweaty, stinky corners, boy, have they got you covered. Their deodorant is one of my favorite things possible, plus a fantastic ball deodorant also. Listen, do you like smelling good and you like being less hairy? Well, manscaped.com has you covered. Head over again, use that promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. We guarantee it's a Nintendo Dad seal of approval. Manscaped products are amazing, and we love them every single day. Manscaped.com. Back to you. That's what happened. That's what happens when I don't get the copy from April.
Can I have nowhere to go. Can I just say this? That there's been a lot of moments on the show that have surprised me. Tim being unable to do math, that's surprising.
Justin in time zones, or
Justin,
daylight savings time.
Yeah, that surprised me. But I never really thought that a phrase that I would hear on the show would be sweaty, stinky corners.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But we all have sweaty, stinky corners.
Yeah.
Or dens.
Yeah.
You may want to call them that. I don't know.
Manscaped works too well for you, though, because that's why you don't have a beard.
And that's exactly it.
It works too well.
Would another word here be crannies?
Sure, why not?
Sweaty, stinky crannies.
Right? Yeah. Crannies, not grannies. It's such a really close, like one letter off, and things could get weird.
Yeah. See, I was afraid you were going to go there.
I know, right?
So we're gonna throw it back over to Barry. Barry, again, co-founding member of Premium Edition Games, co-host of Nintendo Fuse and the Premium Playcast podcast. We've got some extra questions for you that Tim forgot to move up and put into the news section.
Oh,
no. They're not part of questions that go with what he was talking about. These are questions.
Okay. So these are just questions for him.
Oh, okay.
Didn't
expect this. All right. Throw me on the spot.
Okay, so here we go. These are good questions.
I think we should all sort of like maybe ask these questions.
Yeah.
Answer these questions.
Okay. So if you ran Nintendo's Indie Showcase,
okay,
would you change anything?
You know, that's a good question. The premium directs that we do, I write the scripts for. And obviously Nintendo was really the first ones to do it back in 2013 with Nintendo Direct when they started, and maybe it was 2012 when they started. And I've watched the evolution over the years, and I think the format they have now, I think the pacing is probably the best out there, where they start with something, then they do some headlines, then they do another something, headlines, and they kind of go back and forth. And even the headlines, they do a little snippet, then they show the trailer, talk about it, back to the snippet, and repeat. I see so many showcases that it's just trailer. Like here's 8 trailers in a row, and then he's like, well, what did you think of the third game? It's like, which one was that? Or what did you think of this game? Okay, well, which one was that again? But you don't have time to digest it. And like with our directs, we always, like, I try to write time for people to digest and talk about the games and give breathing room. So in terms of Nintendo, honestly, I think they've got it down pat. I think they've really hit the pacing, like the stride. Other presenters, I think pacing has been off. Some get better than others. I think Ubisoft has been sometimes some of the worst, where they'll do like, here's a 30-minute segment on Ghost Recon to start the show, and if you don't care about Ghost Recon, you're bored for 30 minutes to get to something. Oh, just give me no more than 5
Or you're
minutes of
tuned
any
out.
games, or you're tuned out. There should be no more than 5 minutes of any game before moving on. I know Nintendo got some flack for the Smash Ultimate Direct, that E3, but that was at the end, and they flat out said the rest of this is Smash. Do a big showcase thing at the end. Don't open with it. Like I said, no more than 5 minutes per game. Give breathing room in between, because you don't want to alienate your audience or let them lose.
Or what's even worse, after a direct, they were going to do a treehouse segment, and it ended up to be Bakugan.
Yeah. oh, that one. We got a special surprise. It's Bakugan. What? Who cares? Yeah, that I feel bad too, because it's not Bakugan's fault. It was the fact that they hyped it up. That was not a surprise game. That they could have just told us that and been fine, instead of getting disappointed.
Yeah, if that was just part of the direct, it would have been fine.
Been fine. No one
but we
cared.
didn't need a treehouse segment for that.
Well, that was also, I think, during 2020 when we weren't even sure about directs. So that was what made it worse, because we were starved. We were like, oh, there's a treehouse segment, and we're gonna get a special surprise. Oh, what's it gonna be? And it's Bakugan. It's like, oh.
Right. Yeah, that hurt.
I forgot about that. Thanks, Jesse. Core memory unlocked.
Exactly.
Yeah, like here's the only thing I would change about it. And I agree with you about the pacing and the script. Really good. Like they've kind of hit their niche or whatever you right. They've hit it. I really need them to stop announcing games years in advance.
They have stopped that, though. Haven't you noticed?
I guess they have, right? Like it happened to Super Meat Boy Forever. It happened to Pocket Fighter back in the day. It happened to Miniko's Night Market. There's just.
I'm gonna like sort of like almost challenge you with I hear what you're saying, Marty, because you'll get a lot of like winter 2024, right? And you're like, that's a pretty broad window, right? Like what's going on? I would love for them to do a little bit of what I would call like a rundown update.
Yes.
Right. And it's like you have heard these ones in the last year or the last 18 months, and we gave a broad window. Here's the actual date. Like, boom. And it's just like quick one-liners, right? Like
they do kind of do a little bit of that with the montages near the end.
They do it at the montage at the end, but like there are also games that you're like, but those are like 4 games typically. There's not a lot of them, right? And they're usually like out in the next day or two. I would love to know, like, there are games that you talked about 18 months ago, and we still don't have a date on. Why?
I would like them to I'd like them to adapt the classic song September from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like it starts up and it's like, we're about to get, do you remember the games we talked about back in September? And then they get to change it. November, December, they just do it. And
actually, to be fair, Nintendo actually has, I don't know if they still do it, but they did for a little bit do like a month in update. They would do like every month they would do a YouTube video, like an update on things. And I don't know if they still do it, but they did it, I feel like at least a couple of years ago, with things like that. But they used to do that.
I don't think they do that anymore.
Yeah, well, they maybe the views weren't there. But I think, like, if you look at a direct now, they often say, like, oh, we're focusing on games for, like, the first half of this year, and they do keep it genuinely, like, sometimes a surprise.
And then they throw a late in 2025.
They do a late, but it's one game. But I think after Metroid Prime 4, they announced that early, and the reason they announced that early, it was, 2017, the Switch was just ramping up. They wanted to get that hype. They wanted to keep going forward with that. And it worked. I mean, they had Metroid Samus Returns. It didn't even make the damn direct. It was in the treehouse right afterwards. But that should have been direct. But they absolutely wanted to capture that hype, and I think it bit them in the ass. And I think they're realizing that. And they did that with Pikmin 4 and with Bayonetta 3 as well. And they're like, oh, we're not doing that again.
was
Was that
such very.
He's freezing up again.
He was so excited that he froze
yeah, I
up.
was gonna say
Who's it? He's gone. He's not coming back.
Oh, now
just clips of him.
Yeah,
Can
it's just
hear me?
Nope.
Why internet?
we can hear you. Oh no,
That
you're
was good.
moving again.
We're
You're
good?
moving again.
Are we good now?
Now you're good.
Canada must have needed a reboot.
I think
That's
that would
weird.
have been
Someone
funny if
just-
that happened during the Manscaped
Someone
segment.
just turned the flick on and off. I think it's so funny. Your call out for Metroid Prime 4, Barry, is such a right statement. Because I think as Nintendo pundits, that is such an outlier of actions that they have ever done before.
Yep.
Right? Because typically their mantra is, but we have to remember that's real. And to your point, that hype statement is so important because that really was coming off of the Wii U. We needed hype, right? They would.
Oh no.
Dang that internet.
Can we cap that screen real quick? Can we? Yeah, that needs to
Tell you
be.
games.
There needs to be a new YouTube thumbnail. Oh no, he got the. Oh, I thought no, it's Jesse's Windows sound probably.
Yeah, that's the sound it made when I clipped it.
Oh.
I think maybe you need a reboot, Justin.
Okay, bye.
No, that's good. That's good. Now I hear. Now you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine now.
Oh,
If it happens again.
Go ahead and try to make another point so you'll freeze again.
go on to our next thing.
So next question, Barry, we'll let you lead out with this one. What do you want out of the next Nintendo console?
It's a loaded question. Obviously more power. To make it easier for third parties to port games. Like I mentioned earlier about Crystalla, really want to make sure that game runs perfectly on the Switch and it's not a Mortal Kombat 1 situation. We definitely want to see Nintendo get some love there. I honestly don't want gimmicks. I want, outside of what the Switch already does, I don't want any new thing. I've seen like rumors about the thing like opening up like an old flip phone and having multiple screens and it casts to the TV, but it's still the controller and like the gamepad was fine, but it got big. Like I just want a standard controller. I don't want to have to set this thing on the coffee table, while in a pro controller and then looking down and up. And like the Star Fox Zero made me sick because I was constantly looking up and down and up and down. I don't want that. I just want simple play, TV, handheld, keep it as is. Just upgrade the features, upgrade the RAM, upgrade the internal storage space for Christ's sake. That is way too little. And just do that. Just almost make it a non-Nintendo Nintendo. Like compete with the Steam Deck. Make it a Steam Deck with your own charm and your own additives. But every Nintendo system lately has had a gimmick that has used very well by Nintendo one or two times, and then that's it. And like it's forgotten about and it's not used. And even the Joy-Cons, right? The Joy-Cons were used with 1-2 Switch as a tech demo. And then they were forced to be used with Super Mario Party and Pokemon Let's Go and Nintendo Switch Sports.
Ring Fit.
Yeah, very few things, and they're great. And we can keep the Joy-Cons. Labo, yeah, that crashed and burned with the cardboard. But keep that stuff because it already exists on the Switch. But don't add new stuff, because it just doesn't work. The gamepad was used by third parties mostly as an exact copy of what was already on the TV. And sometimes that actually hindered, like Kirby Canvas Curse or Rainbow Curse, that was the Wii U version. That game looked gorgeous on the screen. It absolutely looked beautiful. But you couldn't enjoy it because you had to look at the gamepad's lesser screen to draw on it because that was the only way to play it. So you have this gorgeous videos on or video image on the TV that you can't even enjoy. And then on games like Star Fox Zero, it was like shoehorned in. Like they just throw these things in. The 3D on the 3DS was the same thing. It was shoehorned in. In fact, you can tell how shoehorned it was because the last few years every 3DS game pretty much said in the bottom, only playable in 2D, even from Nintendo themselves. They're like, we're not even going to bother converting this to 3D. Here it is in 2D. Enjoy. Um, just no gimmicks, no stupid gimmicks. If you're going to throw a gimmick in there, make it be something monumental that will actually change the game, but nothing that's just going to be cast away or make it harder for third parties to bring their games to the Switch or Switch 2, and just keep it simple. That's all I want. More power, keep it simple.
Anybody else want to throw anything in there?
I would tend to agree with Barry here. Like you have data that shows that what's working, what currently you have is working really well. You have the data points to prove it. You don't really need to change it. Like, you really just need to go to better processor, right? More horsepower, more memory. Like, when I think about what I want for the next Switch, I really just want a super Switch.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. Like,
better online too.
That is my hope. Like, there are some there's some little tweaks you need to make, but other than that, you're really, really good. And I think from like an indie perspective, when you think about those tweaks, that allows for us to bring more games that are indie games over. I want you to be in a space that, like, when I see an indie game on an Xbox event, I'm like, yeah, that's not coming to Switch. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can look at that real fast and like, that is not coming this way. But I want to be able to see a game on an Xbox or PlayStation Direct or presentation, whatever the heck it is, ID that they do, and I want to go, oh yeah, that's going to come over to Switch. And so they need to put a little bit more under the hood to be able to do that. And so I want them to like I don't need them to be competing on teraflops and all that stuff. Like, they're not going to compete in that space, but I want them to be accessible by indie developers, and I want them to be accessible by third-party developers so that we can continue to have a strong library that allows for it to grow. The nice part that Switch has done in the last 7 years is has really been a home for indies. They have done that really, really well. I think a long time ago, PlayStation sort of owned that crown, and that in the last, since the Switch came out, Nintendo has taken that over. The Switch is the home for indies. And I think that, the fact it's handheld, the fact that it's portable, the fact that it has incredibly high sales numbers attracts indie developers to that platform, and so we get some amazing games. So continue that. Just don't take your hand off the wheel. Like, steady as she goes. And to Barry's point, don't make it a gimmick. But unfortunately, that is so often Nintendo's thing. When they look at every console, it is a gimmick. What is that? It is the magic Nintendo thing. It's the Joy-Cons. It's the motion. It's all of those things. But I'm like, no, just what you have is good. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
Just put some nice padding on it and make it faster.
I would much rather see them, like, with this next iteration of the Switch or whatever it's going to be. If you want to stay committed to the Joy-Con thing, fine. If you want to be able to take them off and play, that's fine. We don't need like super high-tech HD rumble. It just needs to shake. Work on making those sticks, Hall effect joysticks or whatever needs to happen for that. Bump the power up. Make sure that we can have higher capacity SD cards. Be sure the Wi-Fi card is not a potato, that that it can get above a certain speed, so that you can take advantage of fiber downloading speeds and stuff like that. And look, I'll pay whatever. Just don't sell me one with a LED screen and then go, or LCD screen and then go OLED a year later. Just do OLED from the very beginning. I mean, stuff's got to get more expensive at some point.
They've been getting better with the LCDs though too, so they could still get away with a nice LCD screen.
I just think that, like, the OLED also afforded a larger screen, and like, if I look at the regular Switch versus the OLED, that made a huge difference, and I would like to see at least that size of screen if they're not going for OLED.
I haven't seen it for myself, but apparently the PlayStation Portal screen is larger than the OLED screen, not OLED, but apparently still looks great. So if they use that similar screen in the successor, it sounds like it would be a fine.
Yeah, and you
Mikey
probably
Burgett
never
mentions
see one of those because they make about 5 at a time.
right. Mikey Burgett mentions that there was a patent found for an update to the dock, which may or may not be part of the successor. We will find out soon, hopefully. Where like the inside where you plug in the HDMI and the power is actually rotatable and configurable, so you can have cables coming in from either end, instead of only from the one end. So it could fit your entertainment center better.
That would be fantastic.
How about a dock that doesn't scratch your screen? Remember that? That whole thing from the to your point, Marty, also the Switch already does do up to 2 terabytes with the SD card, so that at least is good. Higher capacity for sure. And
well, I think we want more speed more than more capacity.
Oh, okay, yeah, the higher speed for sure. And I see
because
also
we've seen the loading times of Princess Peach.
Oh yeah.
You know.
On Twitch, I see Ninfriend said Mario Maker is one of the best use of the gamepad, and also mentioned Nintendo Land and Zombie U. Mario Maker was a great use of the gamepad, and Nintendo Land and Zombie U absolutely used the gamepad. But those two games have something completely in common. They were launch titles. When the Wii U launched, developers were 100% on board on using the gamepad and making brand new functionality with it that would be exclusive for the Wii U versions. And that lasted all of 6 months before the Wii U sales they literally plummeted, and developers realized it wasn't worth the time, money, and extra effort to do that for the Wii U version. That's why games like Rayman Legends, which was a Wii U exclusive, was delayed and then brought to other platforms. That's why. It's just like, it's not worth it. The reason the Wii got as many games as it did with all those gimmicky motion controls is not because the Wii sold like gangbusters. The reason is because the PS2 and the PSP existed. You know, so many games that were multi-platform, like Sonic Unleashed. If you compare the 360 version to the Wii version, they're different games. Same with like Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands, different games. And the way they got away with that is to develop a worse version for the Wii. They were able to say, well, we could still port it to the PS2 and the PSP and at least recoup some of our money back. And that's why they did it. And that's also retroactively why the PSP and the PS2 lasted as long. They kind of helped each other out. But we're not in a situation where there is a lesser console really anymore. The Switch is, you know, compared to like the PS4 and the Xbox One, the Switch is still less powerful, and those systems are going to be phased out here soon. So we need something, because PS5 games and Xbox Series X games are not going to run on the Switch anywhere nearly as good as those systems.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's roll into this last question here just real quick. What's your favorite Nintendo console of all time, and what's your favorite overall console of all time?
Easy answer, Switch. The Switch has to be, because all my favorite games are now pretty much on the Switch. I mean, if you're talking just exclusives, Switch probably still would get that easily, just because Xenoblade 2 and 3 and Tears of the Kingdom are there. But you have so many games that have been ported or remade for the Switch. You've got the NSO, you've got just so many collections, not even just from Nintendo, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, you've got a Contra collection, you've got, you know, Capcom collections, the arcades, like so many games. Like it's ridiculous that it's almost like cheating. It's like, what game has the best video game soundtrack? Well, Smash Ultimate does, but that's cheating because it has all the great soundtracks from all these other properties. So it's like, yeah, the Switch has to be my absolute favorite console because of that. It just does everything almost.
Right.
Yeah, good answers. Good answers. We had our question of the week earlier, and since the eclipse is coming up on Monday, I asked our community, what's your favorite game set during the nighttime? Or what is your favorite nighttime segment during a game? And we got a couple answers here. Hoots said, favorite night sequence. Not sure if a favorite comes to mind, but I vividly remember the sheer terror of encountering the stall children in Ocarina of Time's Hyrule Field at night. And then going back years later and realizing that they were really easy enemies and you could just run past them anyway. I was a silly child. Victaris GX says that would be any nighttime or space stage in Tetris Effect connected, especially after midnight in the pitch black darkness. What about you guys? Favorite nighttime stage, nighttime effect in a video game? What you got?
First one that
Well, it's
came to
fun-
mind for me was Animal Crossing New Horizons. The night, just because it would follow your pattern and all that, or pretty much your pattern in the daytime, nighttime. So nighttime was a lot of fun, especially for my family. And you could, especially if you could collect stars. That was pretty fun.
It's funny that we're talking about this, like all the moon eclipse stuff and where this is coming from, and nobody's calling out Majora's Mask, with the moon collapsing into the earth and resetting the timeline every single time. Like that feels like a kind of a no-brainer in regards to that one.
But would it be a favorite though? I mean, it's definitely memorable, but you have that pressure. You're looking up and the moon's getting closer, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It just kind of makes me think. I was like, that seems like a pretty appropriate one.
Yeah. My first thought was like the original Super Mario Brothers when you first reached, I think it's World 5, where the background is black instead of blue. So, and it's just such a small thing, but it does kind of makes the colors pop a little bit more. But I think my real answer will be, reminded because I'm replaying Persona 3 Reload, or playing it for the first time. I'm replaying Persona 3, but basically the dungeon parts are done in what they call the dark hour, which is basically when the clock hits midnight, time for everyone else kind of like freezes, and only those who can survive in the dark hour can lives in it. So you do the dungeons and the main of story events during the dark hour time, and especially with the moon, when there's a full moon on that day is when like a big story event happens. And then when
So you enjoyed Tetris? I was like so annoying in that dungeon. I was like, come on, just end already.
It does get annoying, but at least Reload changes up the architecture per section, whereas like in Fez and in Portable, it was just the same building blocks for all 200 and some odd stories.
Yeah, that was way too tall.
I
like Mementos better.
Yeah, I agree. Mementos, I think, is the best one of the three Persona games I've played. But I'm in the third major section of Tartarus now.
Yeah, that is good. That's definitely a memorable nighttime thing. The Animal Crossing is interesting too because every hour is different music. So if you're used to playing at night, you're used to those tracks. But if you never play at night, turning it on, it's like whoa, hold on, wait a second. It's this peaceful music. Wait, this is different. I'm not used to this.
Nice, yeah.
It's a really good soundtrack.
That's when we played the most in this house. Was the time when we relaxed and we just, especially my wife and I, would be in there just having a good time.
Yeah. Each hour by hour, the differences are minor, but if you're really into soundtracks, you'll notice them.
Yeah. When you first read the question, the first thing that came to mind is it's a wonderful night to have a curse.
Oh yeah.
Super memorable.
2.
Yep, super memorable. Not great, but super memorable. I think honestly for me, the Ocarina of Time probably was like the first game I really played that had a day-night system that was like the open world almost esque, and like the hour changed, and it was just so cool to see like, oh, like it's really turning to night, Yeah, outside of like a Harvest Moon style game. It was just unique. And now any open world game I just love when it just turns night and you can just look up at the stars and the stars are gorgeous and it's just like peaceful and serene.
So for me, the one that came to mind, and Justin, I'm really surprised you didn't mention this, is how those stages from Donkey Kong Country Returns, where it's at twilight or it's at night, and you've got the shadows in front of the colored background.
Oh yeah,
that's a great.
That's such a cool effect. Like I've always loved those. Mario Wonder did this as well. Within the last year. But it's not the first Mario game to do that. Mario 3D Land, I believe, did this on the Game Boy. Like it had like a
3D
stage.
Land was 3DS.
or sorry, 3D Land was definitely 3DS.
I think 3D World might have done something similar a few times.
I think they did. There was one part in that game where there was like the shadows showing on the back wall.
Yeah, I remember like holding a piranha plant and attacking it, and only being able to see what's going on by the shadows.
Yeah, that's right. And so, and speaking of 3D World, the reveal of the last stage in 3D World where you get to Bowser's Castle and it's a giant amusement park and everything's lit up in neon, and that just has that that level, like that map has this awesome music, and that's stuck in my head for forever.
What about Bowser's Fury when it starts getting dark and then Bowser comes out?
Yeah,
I love that. That was that's my favorite version of Bowser, by the way.
Yeah, Fury
absolutely.
Bowser.
Yeah.
A couple
I had one more answer. Pokemon Gen 2 introduced the first thing you did when you started it was put in the date and time, or the time and the day of the week, and then it kind of keeps a battery in there, keeps it running when you're not playing, and then the game has day-night cycles. Certain events happen on Wednesday nights only, or in different Pokemon spawn in the day versus night in different areas. So I think that was the first Pokemon game to do that.
Huh. I didn't realize. I was not in that era of Pokemon, so I didn't experience that. A couple other answers from our community, and Andy says, "Hello, dads. Last minute answer for the weekly question: Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube. Toward the end of the game, getting chased by the mob in the barn." And Chris 10AB says, "Luigi's Mansion: Dark Moon." Yes, all the Luigi's Mansion games,
all
right?
of them. Yep,
they're at night. So fantastic games. Well, guys, that is our Let's Discuss segment. Let's talk about, or let's take a quick timeout. Jesse.
All right, so I think I talked a little bit about this in previous weeks, but I decided I am going to build an electronics lab here in my office. I've got a couch which is full of junk that is starting this weekend. I'm going to start to clear it out, and I want to put a nice desk or table there and start putting things in. But while I was, trying to figure out, so I know what I want to buy. I have an Amazon wish list all ready to go with like $2,000 worth of stuff for it. But one thing I knew I had around here somewhere, but I couldn't find it, was my soldering iron I bought like 2 years ago. I asked my wife if she's seen it, and she said she hasn't lately. Looking through the garage, I last remember it being in an oversized box because I had other things in it, and that I know of most of everything else was taken away. So I think the soldering iron is the only thing left in that box. So I told her that this afternoon, and she goes, "You know what? I might have moved it. Check because in the garage is a desk that our youngest daughter uses for glassworking, because she does stained glass artwork when she has time, and she doesn't have her place, so she's got her lab in our garage. So she goes, check the drawers to see if it's in there. So I opened it up, and because she thought it was her glass soldering iron, and I opened it up, and yep, there's my soldering iron in there. The difference is, I work with very small electric components, so it's the tip goes to like a point, like an awl, it's just a point poking at the whatever you're pointing at. Where for glass working, the tip for her soldering iron is like a big standard screwdriver, like a 1/4 inch wide. So she needs a lot of heat in a wide area fast. So, but both of our soldering irons were in the same place. So I now know where my soldering iron is, and I do plan on busting over at least one of the kits that I've been buying up, and giving it a start this weekend as well.
Nice,
awesome.
So once I get this thing built, I do plan on taking pictures and sharing them.
By the way, during that, what you were talking about in your timeout, Jesse, we got raided by 25 people.
Ooh.
From let's see, that was Nerdwire Plays.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you
So
very
that
much.
is
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you,
Thank you very
guys.
much. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
And everybody was hanging around. So that's pretty cool.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Yes.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
We don't get rated too often, so thank you. It's like
And just
was
in
like
time,
hype train.
just in time to talk about what we've been playing.
Do it. I
Barry,
see that
we're
on our
gonna.
on our
Well-
what's go ahead. I was gonna say I see what's on our list here is that we'll maybe want to trim some of the stuff down, but maybe let's go to Barry first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Barry, you are the guest. What have you been playing?
Well, I finished Princess Peach Showtime, which as I played, I immediately was thinking about all that you said, Jesse, about from what you shared last time I was on, and I agreed. And in fact, the first level, I got the first 2 stars, and then I got the 4th star, and I immediately thought of you. I'm like, oh, I can't go back. Oh, it's exactly the same thing that you seem to describe. And
That's
I beat
probably the
game.
exact same situation.
Yeah, same situation too. So I did beat the game. I did not 100% it because it was just infuriating to try and go back, and you can't skip cutscenes, and some of these levels have like 45 seconds to a minute plus of like scenarios
Mhm.
happening, and it's just like I've seen this 3 times trying to do this. I don't care. Or like you missed the very last of like the stars, and you got to go through the whole level again, and I'm just like, it's not worth, especially when you beat the game and you find out what you could use the extra stars for. I'm like, I don't care. So I beat the game. I'm happy to do it. And I thought it was fun. Just if you're a 100%er, be wary. It might not be worth it. But then I started Dragon's Dogma 2, which I was really excited for. And that excitement has dissipated, and I am done with it. And I
Oh,
got a good chunk in, but it's just not feeling it. Like I
Mhm.
loved the first one. I beat the first one, and it was just a great game. And this one, I don't know what they did. I don't know if it's a lot of the archaic aspects of the fast travel system is very archaic. The save system is
Oh,
terrible.
well, yeah, that's
Terrible.
called microtransactions. You gotta pay
Yeah.
for that stuff now.
Yeah, screw that. And like the save system, if you don't know, you have 2 save files. You have one as your main save file, which anytime you start, press start and you save, it saves, or the auto save will save over that file. And the other one is at an inn. So if you're happen to be wandering in the wilderness and like you come across a giant creature and it auto saves and you're in a bad situation and the creature just hits you and kills you and you reload your save, that's it. Even if you saved beforehand, this overrides your save, so you have to be prepared to try whatever you can to get away. And if that's a bad situation, you have to reload your last in save. In saves you can only do in town, and they cost money to save at an inn, like in-game currency, not real world currency. But again, if you've been adventuring for a little bit and you haven't been to town for a while because you have to trek back to town, then yeah, it's just a bad system. Give me save slots. Just allow me to have a little more freedom. It also has a weird system where as you're taking damage, your max health goes down, and like you can't recoup all the way back up unless you rest at an inn or sleep, and or sleep at like a campfire. And it's just a really bad system when you fight a bunch of enemies. Now you're sitting at like 50% of your health, and then you get poisoned, and you don't have something on you because it also uses a weight system. So the more you carry, the slower you are, and your max inventory is super low. So it's like, oh, that's like all these things just started stacking up, and I was just like, you know what, life's too short. I experienced what I experienced. Thanks, Capcom. Maybe if you fix some of these things, I'll come back, but I'm moving on.
wow.
That's
All
crazy.
right.
I was actually thinking about that game because how much I heard that, if you liked Baldur's Gate 3, you probably like this one.
The story is cool, and there's not a lot of like choices. There's interesting scenarios, and the pawn system is very fun, especially because apparently the pawns will tell on their owners. They'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, I've been with owners that just constantly trade out, or I with owners that only like females or only beastmen. And apparently, if you use the brothel enough times, they'll actually say like, oh, my owner has frequent guests in their bed every night, and they're different people. Like I love that whole pawn system, and it does work well. but like it's novel. You could play the first game and get that too, and I think the first game just did certain things better, or maybe I was just in a different time in my life and I didn't like these quality of life things didn't bug me as much. But with so many games to play right now, it's like I'm done throwing my head against the wall because some goblin poisoned me and I had like 25% health and I'm nowhere near town and I can't fast travel and I don't have any potions to cure or antidotes on me to cure me, and my healer can only heal me a little bit at a time, and I'm like, no. And then it auto saves and I'm like, oh, now I'm really screwed.
You just described everything you just described to me made me just die inside. Like that doesn't sound like fun at all.
It's
Like
it's
why
not.
are people subjecting themselves to this? I don't get it.
I don't. I tried really hard, and it's just the quests are cool, the story's cool, the world is cool. But you know, you could just be
But
adventuring and a griffin comes down and beats the crap out of you and it auto saves at that point, and you're like, oh, that sucks. There goes my save file.
you just call it Life Simulator 2024, except it's set in medieval times.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go. Like, I was just minding my own business, and then some bills came down and blam, and it auto saved, and now I can't get out of it, and I have kids, and you know, I, oh, that sounds awful. Jesse, we'll throw it over to you. I know you've also been playing Princess Peach Showtime.
Okay, well, so
Tim,
how-
you have been too, right? So if Tim, you want to
Yes.
add into that?
Yeah, sure.
yes. So who's been playing it and how far are you?
I'm on the
So-
second floor.
I've beaten
Barry
the
said he
third
beat
boss.
Beat it.
Second. Okay. And
So I'm
Justin,
on the
you?
fourth floor.
I did not pick it up. I gave
Okay,
the code over to.
that's fair. Okay, so the few I just want to know how much I should be talking about at this point. I did finish it. I rolled credits on Monday last week, so like
How many
4
hours
days.
did it take you guys when you beat it?
I think it was like 10 or so for me.
Okay.
Probably 10 to 15. I never looked,
10 to
but I
15.
can try
Yeah,
to
something
look
like that.
Okay.
real quick.
Keep in mind that's with a baby where, like
Right.
he needs attention. I just looked
It's,
over and
it's,
left
it
it
says 5 hours or more, so less than 10.
on. Oh, less than 10 for you. Yeah.
Actually, I'll look at your name and see what it says too. Maybe
I
it'll
also
come-
did not 100% it. I'm in the same boat as Barry. In order to 100% it, I pretty much just have to play the whole game again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how much I literally dreaded each level by the end.
Yes.
I was done with it. So the levels themselves are great. They're smooth. They work wonderful. But whenever there's a cutscene, the game completely focuses its energy on the load time. So you have like 5 frames a second, and it's awful to look at. I hate doing it. Even the transformation sequences on all the Act 1s, the door spawning animation at the end of every floor, just the loading
Even
of the scene,
little
of the curtains and the lights.
Yeah, the string when you beat the level going to the door, it's just so jerky.
Yeah.
I want to
and-
know why the loading screens have moving things, but it's like 3 frames of animation. Like, why you
Yeah.
saw that? Why
Well,
didn't you just make it a solid color?
Yeah, well, I think Nintendo was trying to squeeze as much speed out of the loading time, knowing it wasn't a great loading time. And if they still kept the animation at 30 or 60, probably 30 frames a second, that could have almost doubled the loading time. And yeah, they made the right choice, but still, it looks gross. There's an NPC on floor 1 that gives you an item that gives you 3 extra hearts. So I'm thinking, oh, cool. Maybe other characters will give me other items I can swap around like a badge system and for Mario RPGs and boost up a different stat. No, that goes nowhere. So the option is wear it or not. Why wouldn't you? Other than making it a hard mode for yourself. Yeah. And then again, the cake, the whole cake levels, full stop, are awful. I hate them. They could have all burned.
I didn't find them as bad.
Burned like a cookie. Even the detective one, I liked the idea. Like, they could have had a good concept there, but it just turned into a pointing simulator.
Yeah, there's a couple of those that I thought like in my mind, I'm going, these seemed really good on paper to somebody, but the actual execution of these, not great.
Yeah, I think the ninja one was my favorite.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, you go into the water and you're breathing through a bamboo tube. I'm like, okay, that was funny.
When you get into the grass, you're holding
you're holding up
Or
two
against the
green.
wall.
Yeah, and actually, I had a short made out of the cowgirl sequence.
I hated cowgirl.
I didn't like her either, but the first thing I thought of when I was riding the horse was, okay, this is, I don't know if any of you remember this, because it's an old school game from Activision, Stampede.
Yes.
It was like 1981, 1982. So if you look up in our shorts library, you'll see the bit playing, you're on a horse with the lasso, and then it shows a snip of, side by side or top and bottom comparison of that versus Stampede gameplay. And it's just the same. It's funny. So that did make me smile, but that was the only part of the cowgirl that made me smile.
Cowgirl was where I gave up 100%ing. Because I was like, oh my God, seeing the same scene over and over and over, I'm done.
Yeah. And then, so once I knew how each role, each costume played out, I'm like, okay, there's 3 acts per thing. So 30 stages. That seemed kind of low, but then, okay, if they went 4 acts per character, I think that would have been extraordinarily bad. So I'm kind of glad they stopped at 3. I don't know if I could have handled another 10 levels. And then, and I know Tim probably remembers my frustration with how Sea of Stars ended.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like Sea of Stars?
I like Sea of Stars. I just didn't like how it ended. I had the same problem here. Same damn reason too. If
you didn't like the ending?
No, I what I expected. I'm like, okay, you go around saving all the other characters. You did a team up with them in all their act 3s. So you've got now you and 10 other characters all fighting together. I thought the last stage was going to be this whole thing where you hop from roll to roll to roll to roll and do separate small segments. Kind of like how the last stage in Wonder. But no, it's something completely different, and I did not like it.
Oh, see, I enjoyed this. I thought the ending was cool. I liked the bosses too. I thought the bosses were really unique.
We at Nintendo Dads are now introducing a new segment. It's called Games That Disappoint Jesse. It's where he just rants about games.
That's like most of the games I play lately.
And why they disappoint him.
I'm going to agree with Barry here, though. I want to say this. I thought the boss fights were really good. I thought the 3 that I've done, really well done. They're super inventive. They don't go like, I was really happy that they did not focus on one certain power, that it's Peach and that's it.
Yeah, I did like those. Like the level 1, the floors 1 through 4 bosses before going to the next level. I did like those where you were Peach and Peach only.
Yeah.
Millions which kind of peaches for me.
Yeah.
But
what else you been playing, man?
Okay, and then I talked about Persona 3 Reload. I've been playing more of that. I'm just starting. I think about August 2nd is where my save is, which is like a big track and field competition apparently going on a Sunday. I don't know why they do it on a Sunday, but they did. And then later on in that first week in August will be the August Full Moon event. I don't remember what happens, but something's going to happen. So I'm about a third of the way through the game. I'm like 31 hours in, and I remember this being like a 100-hour game the first time. And I don't remember how many floors of Tartarus there are. I'm thinking in the 240s, and I'm at 92.
I think it's like 260 something.
It's a lot of floors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So about a third of the way through. And yeah, and I know there's going to be like 3 or 4 more characters, playable characters, hopping into my party soon, and that's going to be it. Makes it more difficult to juggle. And then last, I've been playing more Picross S Plus. I'm about 2/3 through E2, and then when I finish a game, it tells me, it adds up all the time it's that I spent playing the game, and it gives me, okay, it took an hour. It's like the bonus segments, the bonus puzzles were like 6 or 8 hours. E1 was like 14 or 15 hours. This E2 has extra content. It has the clip Picross puzzles in addition to the 300 other ones. So it'll probably be closer to 20 to 22 hours for that when I finish it. Though the one thing about the clip Picross, normally the clip Picross unlocks over time as you do the other 150. You have 150 Picross and 150 Mega Picross. Doesn't matter which one you do, but doing one set of those will unlock the clip Picrosses. But in the S Plus games, the clip Picrosses are all unlocked right out of the box, so you can do those first if you want. So I did for the E2 content.
Cool. Good stuff.
And I did buy South Park Snow Day. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. And I want to play Pokemon Y. Not sure if I'll get to that, but those are the ones I have on deck.
Good deal. Tim, what about you? What you been playing? Like a whole paragraph worth of
No, Tim, all those you just direct people to go watch your video. All the $20 challenge, people go watch the video.
Okay, I'm done then.
No, give us a rundown, Tim.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Actually, there's a slew of games we played for the $20 challenge, and I'm sure we'll be all talking about that a little bit together, the three of us, between Marty, Justin, and I. But those games were Cat Milk, Bomber Crew, Sausage Wars, Sherlock Purr 2, Police Simulator 2023, Mom Simulator 2023, Surgeon Simulator CPR, Hull.io. Those all were played because of these were 4 games from Marty, 4 games from Justin, and I played those in a stream, and you can watch the replay over on our channel under the live section. So go take a look at that.
And I was wanted to throw in there. I did not, when Justin asked if I wanted to participate in this, I said no, because I am just finished. The day after I finished Showtime, and I told him I am not up to playing anything. It's crap right now. I need to bleach my brain with some Picross for a week. Those were my exact words.
Why do you think all these games were crap?
Because you bought one for a penny.
Cat Milk is amazing.
Well,
And by amazing, hey man, it was 15 minutes of my life I'm not getting back.
I want to know who developed it, because I want to know the history behind that game. That's how interested I am in that game, Cat Milk. Because
I think
it's
there's
like
a documentary series that we could do here on
there's-
Netflix.
I want to know more about why it was developed. Was it their first game? Or was it their, first time developer, or they're maybe they developed a few games. I don't know. I want to know more about
I also
this
want to
game.
know, why is it called Cat Milk?
Cat Milk, right?
Like,
Right.
why is it
Alphabetical?
When I search for it, it's just Cat Milk. But then when I go to the page, it's Cat Milk.
Right.
It was developed by Game Nacional.
Yep. I tried looking up some information, but I can't find very much because
We've got
trying-
to find an email address or a social media account. We got to ask questions.
I tried to go to Twitter to find them
on the show.
I got to know more about this. I got to know about
They have
the mindset in this development of this game.
They have so many games on Switch. Let's listen to some of these. Oh, there's Dog.
What?
Scribbled, Dynino Space Adventure, Hope's Farm, Aquatic Rampage, Notes, Pyre on Fire, 10 pages, Cat, Mega Bundle Cats plus Dog, Aquatic Rampage, Extreme Race, Torum, Him and Her 3,
Ooh.
Sorcerer Knights, Blackjack Math, Hidden Theft, Chubby Cat.
I want to know more about this developer.
We're just
I wanna know
telling
more.
Barry right now. This is the developer you need to talk to. This is who you need to
Clearly.
be getting a premium edition.
Clearly. I smell a
and
collection.
listen, there's another game that's a Vampire Survivors style game called Cat Survivors.
Oh my gosh, I got to play that one. No, seriously, I want to know about this developer. I want to know the mindset behind all these games, what their goals are. I want to know because it could be a kid for all we know.
Can I just read
First time developer? Yeah, go ahead.
This is the page. This is the description for Cat Milk. I just want to read this. This game is for cat lovers! Exclamation point. Jump like a cat. No punctuation. This is a little white cat who loves to jump and to get into adventures around the town until he finds milk to drink, period. Once he accomplishes his mission, comma, then it is time to go home, period. A fluffy white cat, period.
Well,
Also,
game of the year.
As an FYI, when not on sale, Cat Milk is 13 Canadian dollars.
It's $10 here. Yeah.
$10.
I want to know more.
It is currently on sale for 1 cent, 1 penny.
I want to know.
Now I need to download this.
It's
for
1
penny.
penny. It's $1.99 here.
Oh,
Really? Yeah, no, it is 1 cent here in Canada.
Yeah, it was not a penny for us. It was $2.
It was not.
Well, because that didn't make sense to me. I was like, it's 99% off and it's $13. That doesn't make sense to me either.
Yeah. No,
Can I
I'm
tell you
serious.
the one
I
that
wanna
blows
know
my
more.
mind? Listen to this. You got me that NOS, the new operating system, Tim.
Yes.
Normal price, $39.99.
Yep.
$40 for a fake operating system for the Switch.
Yeah. I bought that and tried it, and I thought it was junk. I don't know how much I spent on it, but hopefully it wasn't $40. I gotta look it up.
I'm sorry. Keep going. I hijacked. I didn't mean
It's okay. No, it's okay. But I do want to know more about that developer and what their goals are and all that kind of stuff. Like, what is behind the mindset behind that?
Obviously, it's a fluffy white cat gets milk and an adventure above the city.
I have now
a fluffy white cat.
I've now gone onto the publisher page for game Nocturnally. I know you were calling out some games before, Marty.
Game Nacional.
Yeah, like we are now also into games that are called NINDADS, Secrets of Magic 3, Happy Halloween, Fly Cat, Chubby Cat, you talked about that one, Hidden Thief, American Man. There is a game called American Man for $10.
Gosh.
Dog, you talked about that. OXO. What is American Man? Oh, I have so many.
I think you should download all of these games and you should make a
Man.
video playing through all of these games.
Super American Soldier. Help a true American soldier to defeat the evil forces of foreign countries.
American Man looks like
Control of
Contra mixed in
poor
with
animals.
Rambo.
No, that took over control of the poor animals, making them turn into frightful soldiers through advanced genetic experiments. That manpower, or rather, this
You
is
are
in quotes,
You are Dr. Robotnik.
makes up the most fierce army against a one-man army that could ever exist.
I've got a challenge.
That one man is.
I want to see if any of you want to take any of these. If someone donates $100 to your Extra Life, you have to play $100 worth of their games.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right. So Marty, I looked up my purchase history, found NOS. I spent $2 on it. I don't feel bad anymore.
There you go. Y'all, American Man sounds like something that would be like Dr. Wily's run out of
Dr. Robotnik, I mean?
No, Wily from Mega Man. He's run out of ideas. Like we've had Elect Man, Ice Man, Cut Man, Guts Man. Now we have American Man.
I thought you meant with like the robots, the animals.
He's just got like a hot dog and a beer in his hand. He's riding a scooter into Walmart.
Reminds me of that game American Dream, if you've ever seen that.
Oh no.
It's a VR game, and if you look at the cover, every like the whole like American family and everyone's got a gun. They're grilling with a gun. The dog has a gun. It's crazy.
I'm
Milk
gonna have to
Cellar
look
is
this
also
up.
a game. Milk Cellars, there's so much here.
So the other
This is
games I've been playing, Stunt Paradise. We're going to talk about the games we've been playing, right? We'll talk about the challenge at some point. Maybe that's
Sure,
a
yeah.
post-show conversation. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But Stunt Paradise, I did a video on already, and I've been continuing playing that because it's actually a fun little game. It was that stunt racing car game where I go on the tracks, almost like the Urban Trail type game, but this is with cars. I've been having fun. I've been going back to it. Another game that I have a first look on that I'm doing more of is the New Star GP. It is like an F1 car racer. And man, there's so much content in there that more than I've learned since playing it. So I'm probably going to do another video, like a let's play of it, just to kind of go over some of the new things that I've learned. Princess Peach, Showtime, playing that, having a lot of fun with it, actually. Like I said, I'm only on the second floor. I'm taking it, a step at a time, a floor at a time, completing a couple stages at a time. So, but every one that I've played, yeah, some I like better than others, but I'm having fun with the game. So I'm looking forward to getting to the end. More Bellatro, that's the poker game, roguelike poker game, having fun with that. Just trying to see if I can break the threshold that everybody else seems to be able to do, and I can't. And then Pokemon Y, which is the Retro Logic Retro Rewind game that they've been doing. That is, we'll talk about in events and contests, but I've been playing that. Spent a lot of time in Pokemon Y, and I couldn't even tell you what city I'm in right now. I don't remember those kind of details.
You're in
But
Pokemon City.
I'm going towards my third gym is what I'm trying to get to. So I can at least say that. Trying to get to beat my third gym.
It's like Paradise City. Take me down to the Pokemon City.
Yes. Where the grass is green and the Pokemon are pretty.
Lots of jinx running around there.
Yeah, you
Give me a
said you
kiss.
said it. You said it. All right. Hey,
That's what I've
Justin,
been playing.
Justin, let's talk for just a second here about Pepper Grinder. I know
Yeah.
that you and I have both been playing this.
Yep.
You finished the game. I thought
I
I was
did.
going to be able to have it finished by Showtime, but I just made it to World 4.
Okay.
I think this is brilliant. It's hooked me. And
Yeah.
there's besides, I'm gonna be honest with you that besides Baltro, there's not a game that's hooked me lately besides these
really?
two.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got Princess Peach. It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
I haven't really finished it or done anything with it. What did you like about Pepper Grinder?
Yeah, I had an opportunity to play Pepper Grinder when I was at PAX West in 2023. It was actually like the second game that I played. And I really enjoyed it very quickly on. I found the controls were a little bit challenging at times, but I was also using an Xbox controller. So I don't know if my brain was just not fully functioning the same way it should have. But so when Pepper Grinder came out after we played the demo, I was super excited. I found it like unique, right? It feels different. It is a different type of game. It can definitely be frustrating at times. You're trying to get that light, the perfect run. You're trying to get the jewels, right? You're trying to get the boost at the right time. There's some enemies to fight. But I found it really engaging. I found the levels relatively short, right? They were like somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes, depending on if you died a couple times. I loved kind of the art style it was kind of a kids crayon art style. There's some stuff in the background moving. I thought that was super cool. The boss battles I actually found really interesting. I will tell you that like boss battle number 1, like in World 1, that's a really hard boss battle. And then
steep
all the other
curve
ones,
right there.
all the other ones afterwards, I was like, that wasn't as hard as the first one. Why is that?
Oh
So
yeah,
they definitely didn't.
I was dreading the second one, and it was
Wasn't
like
that bad.
3 minutes. I was like, was that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so I will then say, like, so I have finished the game. It took me about 4.5 hours. Now, when I say I finished it, I did the story all the way through, got to the end, finished the boss, done and dusted. That for me is finished. Now, did I collect all of the 5 coins in each of the worlds? No, I didn't. Did I unlock the secret areas in each of the worlds? I did do that. So I feel like I'm done from what I want to do. Now, the thing I do like about Pepper Grinder is that there is replayability. right? So I can go back and I can go get those other coins. I can explore. I can find different corners to try and do. They also have time trials for each of the levels. So if you want to try and actually beat your times and get better, so there is replayability. How much that replayability matters to you varies by every single person.
Yeah.
For me, I doubt that I'm going to go back and collect coins. I doubt that I'm going to try and do any of these trials as well. I've done the main game. I completed the game. I saw the final boss. I defeated the final boss. Yeah, I'm good, right? So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a unique game. The things that I sort of was challenged by was it actually just felt like it came to an abrupt end. Like I was like, oh, this is it. Okay, this is World 4. World 4 is your final world. You will go and play a boss. The boss was very difficult. The end boss is challenging. I'm not going to lie to that. So you're kind of like, you don't feel like you're building towards that. It's just there. And now you're like, oh, okay, I need to really, really work this. And then you beat the boss and credits roll.
You're done.
So it feels like it's sort of a weird ending. Like I thought, oh, sure, there's got to be like 5 or 10 levels, maybe. No, it's 4 worlds is where you're going, and that's it. So that's one of the things. But I would say value for cost, though, is fine, right? I got 4.5, 5 hours of gameplay out of this. In the US, it costs $15. That's pretty good value.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not unhappy with that at all.
So on the Link side of things, it very much reminds me of Gunbrella.
Yes.
Gunbrella had, a limited space to work in.
Yep.
Of course, you were shuttling back and forth between that space. Pepper Grinder's more of a point A to point B.
Yep.
Done. But like Gunbrella was pretty unapologetic in this is what this game is.
Yep.
And we're done.
100%.
And you lead up to a point and the final boss is kind of challenging and then that's it.
That's it.
Pepper Grinder feels like the same way. And it's gonna be final for me because I am making myself get all 5 coins.
Okay.
On the first run through.
Right.
Or I go back in immediately and find the one or two I missed. So I have everything up to.
No, okay, yeah, because I was like, really, you're really, because I was like, you and I chatted, and I thought you were there by now, but I just didn't know why you did that. The thing I would say about Pepper Grinder, there are some really fantastic fun set moments.
Yes.
Right? There are times that I was like, oh, this very much reminds me of Donkey Kong Country, right? I think there's some the barrel moments, very much Donkey Kong Country, and you're smiling and having a good time.
And some unexpected things that happen, like
yes,
and I would say like. I don't know if the right word here for this is Twitch based gameplay, but like very like decisions that you have to make, like split second, like I'm going to shoot this way or I'm going to go over here. And that's going to determine whether you're going to find everything in that level. You get one chance. That's it.
Yep.
There's some like, the third level in particular is, an ice world.
Yep.
And you spend a significant amount of time in one of the levels in the water. And I thought that it was a neat, I guess, set piece or whatever, like a neat design decision that they made, that the water would freeze you if you were in it and you stayed in it too long, you would take a point of damage. But if you hop out of the water, like you warm up, I guess, and it starts over. But I did like, I appreciated that of usually when you play an ice world in a game, it's all about slipping, like the ice physics. This was all about, you're going to freeze, you're going to die. And you don't see that a lot in games where they play around with ice stuff. It's 100%. It's always the fire level that, oh, you're going to get burned or, this is going to happen. I thought that was a neat touch.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought like they also did some nice kind of subverting expectations of, hey, not only are you using the grinder to get around, but also now when you plug it into something else, there's now a mech, right, that you're using, and it's super OP, but it's a ton of fun, right? Or all of a sudden now now you have a bazooka or a cannon. You're like, okay, cool, right?
You're like driving a snow ski.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, a snowmobile, right? So they all of a sudden like just changed some of those things that if it was just 5 worlds and 5 levels in each of those worlds of just drilling around, I think you would start to start to lose some of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely do a good job subverting expectations. Like I said, I do think it all of a sudden ends a little bit abruptly, a little bit short. Probably if you gave it another, and it sounds weird, give it another hour and a half or 2 hours, I think you probably would have felt a little bit more well-rounded, but definitely worth your time. And I'd highly recommend checking out Pepper Grinder.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to throw that out there because that's the only game that you've got on your list. I'm a little I have to say this. I'm a little disappointed that you've not dug into the third game that I got you yet, Lego City Undercover.
I have to do two
and
more
I'm being
recordings.
honest
That's
with
one of them
you
I put on there.
that I bought. Like, I know that I gave you and Tim both like joke games. Like Mom
Yep.
Simulator was the joke game. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, Mom Simulator right now is winning for my best game of that series.
But I will say this, like, I made sure, like, on my list, I wanted to get a game that I thought was for you, that you would enjoy, and I can't wait for you to play Lego City Undercover.
Excited.
Like I said, I've said before, it's Grand Theft Auto Lego version. If you've not played this game, it's on sale, I believe, right now as part of that Blockbuster sale. I think that ends this weekend. You need to go. It's like $5.99, y'all, and it has tons of content, and it's so good. You need to go check it out. In addition to Pepper Grinder, I've got some videos that are up or going to be up in the next few days for my part of the $20 challenge. Up right now is Crypt Stalker and Kill It With Fire and End Golf. Crypt Stalker, I'm going to say this about this game, it was the best of the lot. It was my most pleasant surprise from all of this. If you are an old school Castlevania fan, you owe it to yourself to go check out Crypt Stalker. It's amazing. Like I've had so much fun with it. But that one it's super good. Just the very NES platformy action adventure game. So good. I've also played Cat Milk. That video is coming out soon. Kill It With Fire is a first person physics puzzler where you try to kill all the spiders in a space before you move on to the next one. And it gave me the heebie-jeebies. I'm gonna be honest.
That's exactly why I got
the spiders make this sound, and they when they crawl out, there's the music escalates and stuff, and there's different kinds of spiders. Like in the beginning, you have a clipboard and you can kill them with a hit, and then by the end of the video, there's these red spiders that when you kill them, they burst open and other little spiders come out. It's just awful. In Golf was also a pleasant surprise. It's a mini golf game where it's almost like in a handheld, like you're in this grid, like a 9x9 grid, and you play one of the levels, and you can see the next one slide over to lock into the one you're in, and it goes through, and each level has 9 holes, and it's themed. So you have the Egyptian level in the front, then you have an amusement park level, and you should definitely go check. If you're a fan of mini golf, you go check it out. The other games that Tim gifted me were NOS, which is an operating system for the Nintendo Switch, and I really thought that this was one of those where it was going to be a little subversive, below the surface. It looks like an operating system, but then you notice things are weird and stuff starts happening and you start peeling back the onion. Nope, it's just an operating system.
No, it's not that smart.
It's the shortest of the videos. I did everything in 5 minutes. Yeah. Disjunction is another game. It's like a Shadowrun style detective game for Switch. I think that's one you should keep on your radar. And then Tim also asked me to play Smashy Road 1 and 2, which is, it's just I gotta have one more run. It's an isometric view driving game where you start out and basically you're being chased by the police. You don't know why, but the longer that you avoid them, the higher your score. And so you can steal other people's cars, and then eventually tanks start following you and helicopters, and they start shooting at you. And it's a crime simulator is basically what it is for kids. And then
teach them smart.
The last one he asked me to play, I thought this was really interesting. If Doom, the Doom reboot, and Enter the Gungeon had a baby. It's called Wildcat Gun Machine. And it's a roguelike shooter, very I felt very heavily inspired by Doom. It has like that industrial, like dubstep soundtrack. You're in this facility, and there's like these technological demon monsters, and every level's different. And you have this thing called the Wildcat Gun Machine, where when you build up your meter far enough, you can turn into like this invincible guns blazing character for a short time. And so it's like Enter the Gungeon, Bullet Hell meets Doom meets roguelike. Highly recommended. And then I've also been playing WWE 2K24. I finally caved and got this on PS5 just because I kept seeing so many clips of people playing it and what they were able to do with the creative wrestler and stuff. And so I've gotten like the coolest part of it for me right now is this year's showcase mode is delving back into iconic WrestleMania matches. And so you play out part of the story. So it's like you play part of the match and you do the objectives, and then it switches to a video clip where like the characters are like the people on the screen, like when it comes back to the match, they're moving just like the video was. And so it's real seamless how all that, and like it's narrated and it tells the story of the match, and it's just really neat. But I'm going to try to take some more time to dig into that this weekend. But that's what we've been playing. Now let's turn on the community spotlight.
All right, first a shout out to everybody who stopped by, especially thanks to the people, the Nerdwire plays, who rated us during this recording of our podcast. So thanks for everybody who's stuck around and who's been hanging by and stuff like that. And those who were here before that, like Michael Burgett and Christian, who does our voicemails a lot of the time. So he was here, and BB Beer Bear Cerveza. Who else was here? Nimfrendo, lots of people on Victorious GX. Auntie's Glitches, lots of our great friends who stopped by again and while we were doing the show. So thanks again for stopping by. And I apologize if I missed your name in all of these list of names here, but thanks again for stopping by. Some of the events and contests we have going on. If you remember, we've been doing a voicemail contest. We ended that at the end of the month, last month in March, and we drew a winner, and that winner was Andy. And I sent him a DM, and I think he responded during the show, so I'll get back to him later. But yep, the Nim Foreman himself won a copy of the Impact of Awada book signed by the author, and I'll be working with him to send him that book. So thanks to everybody who left voicemails, and who knows, maybe we'll do another contest sometime with that. So we also have Friday Night NSO going every second Friday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Tim, Shannon, and Chris HL, and sometimes Sam from RetroLogic will get together and play some multiplayer games on NSO. You can come play along if you're in our Discord or on Steam if we got some openings, especially if we're playing some games that have all kinds of room for people to join in. You can join in. But also keep an eye on any Friday for a surprise Marty appearance, because Marty has internet at his house. So
yeah, let me slide right in there and say this, that I have begun a new I guess regularly scheduled streaming time on Sunday nights called Sunday Streams. We'll be streaming on Sunday nights live every Sunday night. Well, we didn't this past week because of the Easter holiday, but we'll be resuming this Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central. A mix of brand new and retro games, all just whatever I feel like playing. Just come hang out. It's a way to kind of wind down the weekend and get ready for the week ahead. Just, Sunday streams sounded right. So
sounds good.
come check it out Sunday.
Sweet. And then after that, we got the table every third Friday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern. The community gets together at the table to discuss whatever is on everybody's mind. And if you want to join in, you got to be a subscriber via Patreon or Twitch. Like we got a bunch of new subscribers on today. You can
Yes.
use if you got Amazon Prime, you can join our Discord and come hang out and see what's going on and then join in on the table every third Friday of the month. These are not recorded. It's all just everybody getting together, and I've been told it's very therapeutic. So come hang out with us. And as I mentioned before, I'm playing Pokemon Y because it is for the monthly Retro Logic Retro Rewind event, which is going on in the Retro Logic channel and in our own community channel for retro stuff. They have a contest going on until mid-April or longer if needed, to where they're doing a Pokedex challenge. Most Pokemon caught wins a $10 eShop card to their eShop of choice. So not just Nintendo, but you could use it wherever you want, like PlayStation or Xbox or Epic or Steam, wherever we can get a $10 eShop card, or they can get a $10 eShop card. They'll get you that $10 eShop card from. All right, so that's all our events and contests going on. We got a few questions and a voicemail. Let's jump right into it, with the first question being from Alan Look to the Cookie. He says, after realizing that I have not docked my Switch in over 6 months, I'm curious what your percentage is in playing your Switch docked versus handheld. Unless they can figure out a way to make the handheld experience more powerful, I am not sure if there's a reason to buy a Switch 2, if not for the exclusives only. I think the same could be said for PS4 versus PS5. What are you really getting in addition except for the exclusives? So a couple of those questions being how much do you play docked versus handheld, and then what, will there be a need to buy the Switch 2?
For me, I would probably say I'm probably 75% docked. And then the other 25% is handheld. I really probably only play handheld when I'm traveling. So actually I'm heading out for work here in about 2 weeks. I'll be gone for a week, and so I'll bring the Switch then and obviously play on the plane. And actually, if I'm being quite honest with you, I'll actually bring the covert dock and probably set it up in my hotel room and play on the screen there. Just because my hands are large, right? And so the playing on the Joy-Cons just doesn't feel like it gives me the grip that I like. I like a proper controller, right? So that for me, that's a really big thing. That's a really big deal. Is so much so that when I'm playing in handheld, it actually changes the type of games I play. Handheld, it is typically games that do not require a lot of like really, really fine motor skills. It's something simple like maybe a Mario versus Donkey Kong, right? It's not going to be something like a Fortnite or a Splatoon or some really complex button mashy kind of game. So yeah, that's sort of my approach.
I would say it used to be the majority was docked, but since buying a Nitro deck, I mean the Switch stays in it almost all the time, and I play almost completely handheld now. And mainly, I was saying this before the show that like we have the big TV. That's where my dock is. That's where my PS5 is. So, but that's also in our main room. So a lot of times, like there's a show on the TV, so I'm playing dots, right? And it's just, I don't know. To me, it's become more comfortable to play handheld with the Nitro deck. It's made it where almost everything I play is handheld now.
Nice. Barry?
Yeah, I'm about 99% docked. The only time I ever play handheld is if I'm traveling, which is rare, or if like my wife is using the TV and doing something like she wants to watch something herself, or she's playing on the PS5, which is also rare, then I'll be like, all right, and I want to do something on Switch. But like Justin, like I do not like the Joy-Cons and the feel. And if I like the placement of the buttons on the Joy-Cons, where the buttons on the right Joy-Con are directly like vertical with the analog stick, and I like that bit of like angle. It feels more natural to me. So playing on a Joy-Con always feels weird. And even with the Split Pad Pro, it helps. But you know, it's like, all right, I'll play a little something while biding my time to use the TV again. I just really like the Pro Controller.
Have you ever?
I sometimes wonder if it's our age.
Maybe.
Right, we are men of a certain age now, and like so like and like this should be blunt, right? Like we're all over 40 here.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it's just a little bit of like the eye strain, a little bit of the like the muscle. But my youngest daughter, she just plays handheld, like and we've got the old Switch. She just takes it right out of the dock. It's sitting in front of the television, and she just lays on the couch and just plays it that way. Like she doesn't care to put it on the big screen, and she'll take it with her, and she'll play Fortnite and every other game on it that way. And I'm like that, like we'll squad up for Fortnite, and I'm like, the only way I'm playing is I'm on an actual screen. We're not doing this thing where I'm, and so it might be of an age thing, possibly. I don't know.
Have you
Yeah.
guys tried or thought about the Fixture S2? Because you can use the Pro Controller with just your screen and then have the Pro Controller feel. but
I
it
have
portable.
something similar to the Fixture S2 that I've used before.
Yeah. The
And I
S2 is
just
for the OLED.
OLED, right? Yeah. I just get to a point that I'm like, well, if I'm doing that, then I may as well just go find a dock or play later, get another screen, right?
Right. Well, I mean, for on the go too, like you're saying, even when you're 25% of the time, you know, if you prefer the Pro Controller.
But then I'm just carrying more stuff in my bag. You know what
It's
I
one
mean?
more
Like,
accessory.
yeah, it's two more accessories. Like, already I've got the Switch in a case. Now I've got a Switch. Now I've got the Pro Controller in my bag, and now I've got
It's just a case.
Well, yeah,
goes
it's
in
another
the
case,
thing.
another bag. Like, it's just
Oh,
it just
you
feels
switch the case.
it
It's
just feels hard. Listen,
You switch it. You
This
get it?
segment
You
brought
switch
to
it.
you by
It's not a
yeah.
case within
Apparently,
a
it's brought
case.
to you by both the cracked case and
Nitro
Yeah,
Deck.
I don't use that
Nitro
anymore
Deck
because I'm
and-
using this too. So
we are not sponsored by Nitro Deck,
No, we're
despite the
not.
fact
We would like
that
to
we
be.
have been promoting them a lot lately. Use
Yeah.
the promo code NINDADS at Nitro Deck for nothing.
For
Yes.
nothing.
Just try it though.
You can use the code NINDADS and watch nothing happen.
Yeah, when the Switch launched, I was almost all portable, mainly because my son and my brother-in-law would be playing the Wii U on the TV, so that was that or docked on my computer. But I think it was like Dragon Quest XI when that came out. The text was so small I couldn't read it, so I'm like I had to go on to play that docked, and pretty much ever since then I've been like 99 to 100% docked. Again, I blame the old age.
good old excuse.
Are you guys gonna buy a Switch 2?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right, Darth Platypus.
Listen, the only way that I'm not buying a Switch 2 is if they're like, we're not backwards compatible in this thing. Then
Well,
I'm
that would
like,
be
then
stupid.
I'm out. I am not doing this again.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully that answers your question, Alan. And on to Darth Platypus's question. Since it was a couple of days ago, what's the best April Fool's prank joke you've ever seen?
Oh, this is one I did personally. A few years ago, I made a post on Facebook and hid my brother-in-law from it. And basically it said, "Hey, everybody. I won't say his name, but hey, everybody, blank is selling chickens. He's getting rid of all his chickens. Please give him a call and listed his phone number and ask him about his fantastic chicken prices." And his wife sends me this text thread from them, and he's like, "The weirdest thing's happening. I'm getting all these text messages asking me about chickens, about why we're not selling chickens." And he's like, "We don't even have chickens." It just keeps going on. He's like, and then, like, he starts getting mad. He's like, "I wish all these stupid text messages were coming in about these dang chickens." And so it's like, and he's like, "It's going to get me fired from my job," because I'm like, it's just going ding.
His
ding.
phone was blowing up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to take it off, and actually, I will say this: I don't think I've ever told him that was me.
Oh, hopefully he doesn't listen.
Does he listen to the show?
No,
Okay.
no, none of my family listens to this show.
I I don't know if it's my all-time favorite, but I had fun with our Discord this past April Fools by saying that we were going to go down to one channel out of all the channels. I said,
Yeah, dude, I'm blowing it all up.
yep. I said I want to let
We're
everybody
going back to
know.
line.
Yep, exactly. I did put that in
Oh,
there too.
gosh,
I said here
please.
we're upcoming changes that will be coming to our Discord server in the coming days. That way you can properly prepare since it will be a big change. First, all channels will be going away. We will only have one channel going forward, this channel. That way there will be no more need to find the right channel to post in, just one channel. In fact, this server will be mimicking the exact way we did things in Line when we were using that before the Discord server. Now you may ask why not just go back to Line, because we can still utilize the great features in Discord has to offer. That was my to start the day, April 1st. So
I wish we would go back to Line because I had those sweet Mario stickers that moved around, you know?
yep,
Anyway,
yep.
I'll be the only one over there.
I can't think of any April Fool's prank that was memorable, but I have a non-prank that happened on April Fool's Day that was memorable to me. A press release came in, and I shared. I think I shared this on the Discord. And it was like literally drawn in crayon.
Wow.
So I'm like, is this even real? I'm like, I think it is. Even I tweeted about it. This is back when I was with VG Tribune, and even Neil Ronahan from NWR goes, "You might want to check your source." I'm like, I think this is legit, man, and it was. It was announcing Binding of Isaac for the new 3DS was being released. They released it in crayon PR on April 1st.
That's fantastic.
That is great. Yep.
And it happened.
Any others, guys?
Yeah, mine was kind of mean in a way. My ex-fiance and we started dating on April 1st. That was our anniversary. And 2 years after we dated, we went out to dinner and we did the whole 9 yards. We went to the very spot where we've shared our first kiss, everything. And I got down on one knee and I was like, all right, this is it. And I had my hands and I said, will you marry me? I was sincere. And I pulled up my hands at April Fools. And I learned very quickly that's not a smart idea. And I got hit a few times. And thankfully, I did legit have the ring on me. So I did pull it out after, like, no, this is legit. But I had to pull an April Fool's. And it was very memorable. And of course, that obviously that relationship did not continue because we are ex. But I
that is very memorable. Yes,
it is very memorable, and it's I've told that story, and everyone says like you've got guts for doing that. Like that you can die from that,
right?
But I did it. I lived to tell the tale, and I did not do that with my wife. I was legit. I'm no April Fools with that. I learned my lesson.
Us guys always learned something in our younger days about not to do something with a woman, right? There's always something.
The best was as I was telling this, I'm watching Marty, just like, oh no, I know where this is going.
I could see the story building, and I was like, and Barry's going to be like, and later on when I woke up,
pretty much, I did get hit multiple times. She was quite strong and violent, especially when she was angry.
Where was she from?
She was from Connecticut, actually.
Oh, from Connecticut. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No wonder you lived. It wasn't a New Yorker.
Yeah. No, she was tiny. She was like 4'10". She weighed like 82 pounds, soaking wet. So thankfully, there wasn't as much, oomph. But she got a couple good hits in before I could actually pull the ring out. I'm like, don't get stuck. Here it is. Like out of my pocket as she's beating on me.
Right.
And this happened at like almost midnight. It was like 11 o'clock at night. So dark, empty. And it was in a student lounge at her college. So like no one was around. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to die on campus.
They're going to find your body in the morning. That's a great story. All right, next question is from Mikey Burgett. Seeing this list of the top 20 most iconic video game characters of all time, Do you think the order is right? Who would you put in the top 5, and who would you have at number 1? So I apologize, Barry. We didn't have that ready for you.
I was just say, I have no idea what the
Yeah,
top.
I'll send you the link back in the Twitter there. And then that way you can start looking at that stuff too.
We're totally prepared. Professional
Yes.
show.
Yes,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, this
We're
is
always
normal.
on the fly here. So, but yeah, you guys take a look at that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go to the next question and we can answer some of that while we research a little bit of that previous link. Anti-Glitches asks, I am probably too late to ask, but if not, my question is, how do you all get out of a gaming slump? I am busy with work and life. I maybe get 2 hours of gaming a week, if that. I still keep up to date on gaming news with podcasts and YouTube, but I just don't seem to play anything, especially nothing current. How do you get out of that gaming slump, guys?
I was actually in this about a month ago, and it was just like I would have time to play a game, and I just would go, eh. I think what it comes down to is, for me, when I'm in that position, I have to focus on one game at a time.
Yeah.
Like I have to focus. Like I can't get distracted by other games that are coming out. Like I need to just say, I'm going to find this one game. I'm going to play it. I'm going to find out why I love it. And there was a time where, like, I think you can get burnt out. I think you definitely get burnt out on certain games. I think you get burnt out on gaming in general. And if it's like a situation like that where you get 2 hours a week, if that, maybe it's time to let that go to the side for a little bit and then come back to it, so that it's not something that you resent later on. It's like, oh, I wanted to play all these games and nobody ever gave me a chance to do it. And then if it's like become a wedge, or it's become something negative that's there in your relationship with friends or family. Uh,
Good one.
just find a game you love. I mean, for me, a lot of times it's a retro game. It's something I've already played, but it's like comfort food. It's like going back to something familiar. So just finding something that you enjoy playing, even if it is just 30 minutes. And I'm there like a lot during the week now too, with school and other stuff. There'll be weeks where I don't pick up a controller until Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to enjoy the time you have and don't resent or regret the time you don't.
I
Yeah,
agree.
and I think the other part of it is if you're not feeling compelled by something, right? It's okay not to play anything.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. Like, if I
Yeah,
don't feel like playing anything, I've got other hobbies I can fall back on.
yeah,
I like the week or so before Princess Peach launched, I watched a lot of anime that I haven't watched in a while because I
yeah.
wasn't playing games.
And then I think especially when your time is limited, like finding something that if you decide to play, I think a couple things. I think Marty's right about like maybe there's comfort food that you really enjoy. Like, hey, man, this is an old NES game that I really enjoy, or Super Nintendo. I just love the game. The story gets me every time. I just like feel comfortable in that, then do that. Or play something that is small enough that you are making progress in those 2 hour stints, right? Like playing hey, it's a 100-hour JRPG. You're like, yeah, I don't even remember what happened to this cutscene, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to something maybe smaller, like something like and I'm gonna go back to something like a Pepper Grinder or a Gumbrella, something that's like less than 10 hours, right? Where you can be like, yeah, hey, I was able to bang it. I was able to finish the thing in like a month, right? And also, like, if you're halfway through and you don't like it and you don't feel it, then just don't do it. Yeah, and I think sometimes being away from something can make you, when you come back to it, also enjoy it more, and that's part and parcel of it, right? And like life gets busy, so
Absolutely. Sometimes you need the palate cleanse too. So like if you played a lot of big JRPGs or a lot of shooters or a lot of action games, and you're like, I'm just not feeling this one, or you're over kind of like whelmed with it, or you're burnt out on that type. Switch to a different genre. Switch to a smaller
Yeah.
game, a bite-sized game. A lot of times it's just like, all right, you know what? If you don't finish it, you don't finish it. Like I feel a lot of times when there's a big game you're hyped for, you play it, you're like, I'm going to play this to completion. And sometimes you push yourself past certain parts of the game that may not be super exciting because you're like, I need to finish this game. Like, that's my objective. And then you're not really enjoying it. You're just kind of going through the motions till you hit the credits. Just play a game, and if you not enjoying it, stop then. And it's okay. Like, I just talked about Dragon's Dogma 2. It was a game I played. I intended to beat it, and I just wasn't feeling it. It was starting to grate on me. And I'm like, you know what? Why should I push myself if I'm not enjoying myself? Same thing, just backing away. You know, it happens. And you could always revisit a game when you're back in that mindset or you're feeling the groove. But, you know, don't ever feel pressured. And it's not like, oh, now I'm feeling distance from games. Will I ever play again? Yeah, you will. Just take a break. Like Jesse said, like, find another hobby or do something else that you also enjoy, and you'll come back. There's always gonna be something coming back.
For sure. Yep. And my thing that I like jumping into, that I found, that I thought at first, and I think I mentioned this with one of the games that came out. It was a roguelike, and it was Hades. It was Hades. I stayed away from that game. I never played Hades because of it being a roguelike game. And because I was always afraid of that I wouldn't like those. It would be too I would be stressed by playing it. But I found more and more roguelikes that I liked. And I find that right now, I don't want to jump into a large 50-hour game. I want to jump into these roguelikes and try to do a run, because I can do a run in an hour or two or less, you know? So I just do my build out, try to see if I can make a run, go for it. And if it doesn't, if I still have time, I do another run. And then when my time is up, my time is up. I'm ready to move on. So, and even with the Princess Peach one, even though it's not a huge game, it still can be huge because you want to finish the game. So I've been you can break up that game by theater, if you will. So it's an example of how you can break up a game and take chunks at a time. Like, I've been taking on 2 theaters at a time on the floor, and then I'll go on to a different game. So I don't get burnt out by trying to get through Princess Peach. So I'm having fun with it that way. So,
Like
but
I did.
yeah. So, but a lot of the things that these guys said is all the stuff that I've been doing or have done. And even now, like, because I got burnt out with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, because I just finished Breath of the Wild, like maybe 4-6 months before that. So yeah, great question. And hopefully it answers that for Antes. And then back to Mikey Burgett. Did you guys get a chance to look at at that list that he provided in that link?
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you guys think?
It's crap.
Garbage.
Who
Hot
voted?
garbage.
Who voted on this list?
They said it was people voted on it.
People, like, did they just show them pictures and be like, "Which one do you like better?"
I feel like trolls voted on this to see if they can skew
Yeah,
it.
I'm not as offended about Lara Croft being the number 1 over Mario
Oh.
number 2.
God, yes.
I don't like it, but I'm not offended by it. But Agent 47 is number 3. What the hell?
That's the first thing I said. I like. Well, I get it. Lara Croft is recognizable, but Agent 47 looks like the guy who, busts my table after I eat at a restaurant.
Well,
Mr.
yes,
Clean.
Lara Croft is recognizable. It's iconic is what the list is. So if you were to ask the majority of people, show a picture of Lara Croft and show a picture of Mario, and tell me how many more people would know who Mario is versus Lara Croft. Like, Lara Croft could be up there. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve to be, but number 1?
I think she'd place in top 10.
I could see top 10. Yeah,
Yeah, there's.
top 10,
I mean,
but
there's.
not number 1.
I think this top 20 is pretty accurate. But if you don't like, we're talking about iconic. If you
how
don't
could Pikachu be 12?
If you don't put Pac-Man in the top 5, I mean, most, like, again, maybe that's because he's recognizable. But Pac-Man, like, that game revolutionized video game industry.
How about Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3 is 10 and Asterion from Baldur's Gate 3 is 17? Most iconic? Baldur's Gate 3 is a brand new game. How are they most in the top 20?
Exactly.
Most iconic of all time? No.
Like, going back to Pac-Man, the reason why it's iconic is because it brought women into the arcades. Before that, it was
the first game mascot, though, as well. I mean, there was
Also,
the Pac-Man fever.
Crash Bandicoot is on this list and Mega Man is not.
Yeah, that's bullcrap.
Well, but I don't disagree with that. And let
Donkey
me tell
Kong
you-
is not on the list.
Mega
But
Man.
let me tell you why though, right? Crash Bandicoot was the PlayStation mascot. So recognizable and like in the conscient like in the minds of the public, I think he'd show up. I think him being like I think Mario, Pac-Man, I think Sonic should be on there like in the top 3. I think Crash might want to be in there, Master Chief, Kratos, right? Like those are ones that I think deserve to be there. And then there's
Link.
like
Link is there,
yeah,
but
Link is there for sure.
but no Donkey Kong. Like, come on, it's on like Donkey
Yeah.
Kong. I mean, is it?
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I hear you.
I think there's a
It's crazy to me.
generational thing going on here too, because it probably was wherever this list was posted may have been hit by those in the newer generations, and that's probably why some of the iconic ones that we know or think of aren't higher on the list.
So you're blaming the millennials.
But I mean,
I'm not going to say anything.
yeah,
No comment. I'm just going to say
I would
newer
like to take a
generations.
general poll and say who here has played or experienced a game in this series, and just look at the series. You can put Tomb Raider, Mario, Hitman, Sonic, Little Big Planet, Pac-Man, Zelda, and I can guarantee you Mario's going to be near the top. Zelda's going to be up there. Pac-Man's probably going to be there. Sonic might be there. Tomb Raider might be. Hitman, absolutely not. Halo up there, fine. God of
I
War.
mean,
Baldur's Gate 3.
Sackboy being higher on the list than Link.
Yeah, ridiculous. Sorry, ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a
And with
little.
Pikachu.
It's a
Pikachu is
stretch.
12. Pokemon is
Yeah,
the number one
Pikachu.
IP in the history right now. Like, it is the absolute number one IP, and Pikachu was the face of that. You're telling me that's not iconic? I'm sorry. Like that. Oh, Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3, a character that you could actually leave for dead at the beginning of the game, is more iconic than the mascot of the
Than
number one
Pikachu.
IP.
I feel like so. I
no.
feel like someone's original question was, "Who's a thirst trap?" Let's rank our thirst traps.
Well, I mean, Mario being at 2 is definitely. I mean, that is very indicative of that question.
Clearly, Agent 47 means that girls like
that
bald-headed
mustache?
guys.
He's a
Get a
plumber.
barcode tattooed.
He's a
on the back.
plumber. He's a blue collar. He works hard.
What does it say about Sonic and Crash Bandicoot? Lots of furries out there.
There's a lot of furries
Oh God.
out.
All right, way to
Wanna-
get us
wanna move
going,
before we get in more
Mikey.
trouble?
Way to get us going, Mikey. All right, question voicemail. Let's go to the voicemail.
Yeah, we have one of those. Let's find
Yes.
it.
Hey, this is Stan or Darth Platypus on the Discord. Happy Easter. And I was wondering if you guys were to design a Bowser game, what would you do? What kind of game would it be?
I think this is
Ooh.
off of your question, I think, or your commentary from last week, Marty, about a Bowser game.
Yeah. Woo. This is good. Mm,
Yeah, I can't
So-
think of any good answer, but going back to what has been done, while it didn't work as well as it looks on paper, I liked the idea of that Bowser mode in Mario Party, trying to mess things up with everyone else. They just didn't take that landing real well.
I think of the game, for those that remember, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles: My Life as a Dark Lord. It was a WiiWare exclusive, digital, but something like that, where like you play Bowser and you kind of set traps up in your castle, and you could put like the Hammer Brothers and the Koopa Kids or wherever they want, and then after a certain amount of time, Mario and Luigi try to storm the castle at different spots, and you got to place the traps and the minions to try to stop them, and you got to
Is it
prevent
kind
them
of like
from
a
getting
tower
to Bowser.
defense?
Kind of like a tower defense, but then of course if they get to you, then you can control Bowser as well, and you could like fight them, so it's not like you lose instantly. Something like that. I mean, it wouldn't be a full-fledged game unless they fleshed it out, but I can see that being kind of fun for a bit.
So I would like to see a game where Bowser tries to do all these ridiculously evil things, but actually ends up doing good instead. And he becomes like an anti-hero, like he becomes popular in the Mushroom Kingdom. And he's like, and because the perception is Bowser's reformed, but he can't understand why all these evil things that he's doing are making people like him instead of run in fear.
And he's probably mentally not prepared for that.
Yes, so it's Bowser's existential crisis.
Exactly.
That's
I like that one.
Yeah, that's good. What about Bowser's self-help club with from Wreck-It Ralph, where it's just Bowser in like a self-help therapy session with you?
Yeah, it could just be a reskin of Papers, Please, except you're Bowser and you're flipping through people's file, trying to help them like get the help they need.
I would want a Bowser 2D platformer in the vein of the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Like a good, challenging, 2D platformer, and you have to travel across. Like I don't want him going through. I don't want him going through the Mushroom Kingdom. I want him being thrown into like a new kingdom that he has to fight through. And find his way. And maybe it's like or maybe it's a Mushroom Kingdom has been taken over by some other villain. And
like Return of Smithy?
Yeah, sort of right now. And now he has to like defeat, like it's all like zombied Marios and stuff like that he has to, or zombie toads that he has to defeat or whatever it is to kind of free them from some curse. So it's sort of like listen, I'm still the villain here, but I'm your villain. And I'm not okay with other people trying to be the villain to you. So I need to protect that kind of role.
Could be Master Hand coming in to take over.
So Barry, your game kind of reminded me of this iOS game that came out many, many years ago. And I actually just found out they're doing a remake of this on Switch and Steam called Castle Doombad, where you play as the villain and you set up floors for these guys to run. It is a tower defense game, but you're killing them. And your goal is to keep them out of the top of the castle
like
where they come and kill you. And so I've always really liked the art style and design of the lead character. But I remember playing this on the iPhone. It's actually not there anymore. They did the update a few years ago where all those apps became inactive.
Yeah.
And stuff. I guess they do that every few years, but really inventive. Like at the time when it came out, like that had not been explored at all. So you could do everything from like sending minions to putting a mode or spikes or a rotating fireball bar or all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, just have fun with it. I think it could be a fun little like supplementary game, like how like the Mario and Luigi games had those bonus little games, or even Bowser's Fury, something like that. Like.
I like it. Good stuff. Well, guys, those are all of our questions. And as we round out the show here, episode 472, we want to thank you for hanging out with us. We do want to tell you next week, we're going to have a guest on the show, Brian Shea, host of All Things Nintendo, which is a podcast over at Game Informer. He's going to be joining us next week. So be sure you tune in for that. You can go ahead and send in any questions that you have for him to our email. We'll give you that here in just a second. But as we close out the show, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers. That's Dave Ernsberger, Jacqueline Amira, RJ Kern, and our other 90-plus patrons who keep the lights on over here at Nintendo Dads at the headquarters. Special thanks to our 15 Twitch Prime subscribers, over 1,400 Twitch followers, and shout out to over 7,400 YouTube subscribers as well. Basically, if you follow us, like us, add us to your feed on social media, whatever. If you've subscribed, like, pushed buttons, whatever, we're so thankful for you. We really appreciate you. Thanks for all your support. And Barry Carenza from Premium Edition Games and the Nintendo Fuse and Premium Gaming Podcast, we want to say thanks again for being on the show. Letting us know all that you've got coming up. And hey, you're welcome here anytime. Love having you on.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure hanging out.
Awesome. You can find us over at nintendodads.org, where you can get Spotify podcast feeds for our show, as well as the other Nintendo Dads family of podcasts like Dads After Dark and Retro Logic and all their shows they've got going on over there. You see our latest YouTube videos and tweets, or Zeets or X's or whatever they're called now. links to all of our social media, Patreon, Extra Life pages, and merch, including our 10 years of podcasting exclusive design that's out right now. Head over to manscaped.com where you can get 20% off your order and free shipping with the code NINDADS, that's NINDADS, and factormeals.com, 50% off your first order with the code NINDADS50, that's NINDADS50. And remember, if you head over to crkd.gg and you use the code NINDADS, you get nothing, but you'll find some cool products. You can contact us in most places just by typing in Nintendo Dads, but if you want to shoot us an email, it's nintendodads@gmail.com, or you can call in like Darth Platypus and Christian and all the other guys and leave us a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. I want to say a big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show, and a big thanks to Nerdwire for the raid tonight as we recorded. And remember, wherever you download your podcast app of choice, your podcatcher, listen to the audio version, leave us a 5-star review and some written words. It helps people find the show, pushes us up the charts. And, we know that we're number one in your hearts, but we'd like to be number one on the charts as well. So for me, for Justin, for Tim, for Jesse, and Barry, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.